Is this thing on? Testing, testing. Testing, testing. God only knows if it's on. Why do I have a notification button? What is this? Oh. Interesting. It's muted. Nothing's muted. That would be silly. That would be silly. Hello. Oh god. What's up, people? The DonnyVick is here with my awesome my so scuffed just chat tree. The world is. Your world is. Hold on, let me. Oh my god, why did that happen? Okay, it went just like gotcha. Lucy, why are you already going at it? Look. The horse skull is gone. It's over. I know Yang wants it, but it's over. It's gone. It'll never happen. What, is that really? Hold on, let me check here. Is that... I'm scared to delete this and then re-add it because I'm worried it will be loud. Right down. Okay, hopefully that doesn't, what is it? Is it this? Oh no, I'm scared. I don't think I need that button, right? Oh. Oh, that didn't do it. Maybe. I'm scared. Oh god. Zusi was hired by Yang. That Yang was the man inside all along. Yes. Oh god. Thank you for the super though, Zeus. What is... Okay, hold on. Wait. Do I? It's making sound, right? I'm not crazy, right? I hit that. Is it that? Hold on. Surely there's sound. That would be ridiculous if there was not, right? Right? First 15 minutes of a DonnyVick stream? With no sound? Preposterous. That would be the day. Same shit, different day, man. This one? No, the desktop audio is working. Is that just not picking it up? You know what? It's probably better that it doesn't pick that up, to be fair. Okay. It should be safe. Alright, so people can hear me. Can people hear... I don't have anything. Can people hear the music in the background? Can I hear the music in the background? Hold on. I hear it, but I'm scared to turn that on because then I think it'll pop up through the desktop and get picked up twice. Oh, fucking hell. Too good. Too good. I'm doing my dailies today. I did all my dailies today. I'm set. I'm set. I'm good. I didn't do anything in Limbus, though. That's something I should have done. That is something I should have done, lad. Something I should have done. Oh. I almost coughed up my drink. That would have been bad. The music was the first. Okay, so there's no sound? Is that what it is? What the fuck? Hold up. Desktop set too. Default one? That should be. all of it again? Is that what I gotta do? Terrified to do that. Oh, there is music? Zeusy, you can't do this to me, dude. Oh god, wait. What did I turn on? Oh, you might have fucked me. You might have fucked me. Hold on. Oh no. Okay. Surely that won't break, right? Nope, that's gonna break it. I gotta go back. Let's just do this. Try this. I'm scared. No, that can't. This is my only answer to this. This is the only thing I can think of that will bring this back. Here we go. Here he is. That will bring this back. Alright, so single-handedly managed to screw up all of my audio tracks, but now I have it working at the bare minimum. Tracks. There we go. Good shit. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Oh, the DonnyVick mode is engaged. Truly engaged here. As I enjoy my drink. So I have no idea what this stream is going to be. This was very, very... One channel mono sound. Oh my god. Not that there's gonna be any music in this, but yeah. This is a very spur of the moment stream. I was just sorta chilling. Got done with work. Work was stressful. YouTube is being ridiculous right now because of all the stuff. You guys are probably well aware of it. And I was just sort of sitting here thinking, you know what? I just kinda wanna chill. I just kinda wanna do just wanna do a little bit of my thing for a sec. And I may or may not have a D&D game coming up this Sunday. Fingers crossed. Gotta prep for it. And I decided to bite off a bunch to chew to get ready for it. And some people were thinking we were going to do it last Sunday. That wasn't going to happen. Hopefully I will have it this Sunday. Hopefully, please. Free time. But basically for the whole D&D game that I'm doing with some of the community, other YouTubers, stuff like that. Nothing crazy. Nothing on the channel. Nothing's going to be on the channel, I say as I sit here doing this stream. But I kind of thought it would be a cool idea to do a whole new setting. A whole new setting, different places, different people, rules, history, yada yada. I love world building stuff. So I was like, why not? I'll mess with it. And I basically put together a Word document. Where the hell is that at? Whistled into my mic. I hope that's not loud. Hold on. Okay, yeah, it gets a little loud. Good job, me. You just type. I don't know that. I read that message and I was like, dude, that's a whole fever dream. Like, my God. Impressive one, though. Hold on, where's this at? Right here? Hey, there we go. Alrighty. Good shiitake mushrooms. So, oh, wait. Do I have a... Oop, there we go. Hey. There we go. And then... Oh, God, I haven't used this in so long. How the hell do I use this again? Boop, boop, boop. Nope, that's not it. How the hell do you zoom on this again? I don't remember. I don't remember. Over the internet stroke. Yeah, watch out. YouTube bright mode is coming in here in a sec. Where's the plus sign? I literally did this before. Nope, that's not it. Wheel? No. Nope, that ain't gonna work it. Ugh. No scuff here. Not at all. I really thought I would be able to... zoom this. Later, DonnyVick. Procedure. No. Zoom. 100% now. Once you get more experience, think you'd be a good DM. Hell yeah, man. Everybody, I think anyone who plays D&D rightfully on their side of the board, you should always... It's like a requirement. You got to get on the other side of the table at some point. It's a good time. Alrighty, but yeah, where was I? I could have swore I had a zoom button before. Where is it? Where? Oh, right there. There, I remember. There we go. I know what I'm doing. So, there we go. Hopefully that's not crazy fuzzy or anything. Shouldn't be. It's literally white and black text. There we go. Good. 11 people want to deal with this? You're all crazy. I say as I have no idea what I was doing coming in here. I'm just looking for an excuse to world build, and I wanted a bit of content along the way. But yeah, so... Let's see here. You've basically been a perma-DM from the start. World on party players in the same town. The same town? Oh, God. I couldn't imagine that. I too am a forever DM. I go in and out of phases with it, right? Like sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it. Sometimes it's annoying, sometimes I'm like getting the itches and I got to DM, I got to do it, I got to do the thing. And luckily we've been doing D&D on the DV Legion server. If you're not on the server, go ahead and join that. Every once in a while that we do a D&D game. And by we, I mean whenever me and the one other DM that's on there has time. And I believe we're both starting campaigns right now, so maybe that's not... It's terrible timing for an insert. Gotta do something to scratch the itch. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, that's what it's got to be. So, basically, long story short, I asked a couple people from the community that have either been moderators or friends of the channel, etc., etc. I was like, hey, do you want to be in a campaign? Purely for non-content. And they all agreed. We played. Characters are made. They're just working on backstories right now. And once I get the backstories, I'll be able to try and incorporate that. But we're doing a whole new world from scratch. And I love world building. That's like my favorite thing ever in existence. So, like, hold on, maybe. How do I do this again? Is it window? That's it. Where is it? Where is it? I don't remember which one of these it is. That's Google Chrome. That won't do anything. Thought it was a window capture. Where would it be? I don't even know where it would be. I have the Discord open apparently, so that's popping up in there. Nope, that's not it. Okay, it's not going to pop up, is it? Maybe if I do, I add file here. Skibbity, skibba. Capture. No, I don't want to display capture. I'm gonna find image. Yes. I forgot I had that image. How do streamers do this so damn quickly? This is ridiculous. Hold up. One are you? The one? This is the one. This looks like the one. Is it gonna load? Yeah, there it is. Oh my dear God. Well, there we go. It's a little big. It's a little big. But I love map making. I love it a lot. Oh God, I didn't realize how big this was gonna be. Oh dear Lord. Oh, I think I am squishing it to the ends of the earth. I am. Shit. There we go. Oh, I'm moving too many things. Squished again. It's definitely squished again. Okay, hold on. I have to delete this and redo it. Oh, you know, finding a group where you're a player. Oh my God, that's the moment right there. That is the moment. There it is. Give me this again. We're gonna do this correctly this time. Damn it. Oh, why do I? Why are we here? Just to suffer. All right. Oh, please, God, don't click that button. There we go. Now I'm not scaling it in some weird flipping way. Yeah, I've been working on a lot of my D&D stuff for a whole while. And this is one of the continents I've messed with. It's a big boy. It's a big boy. You can get pretty deep into this damn thing. There's all kinds of tiny little details. You know what? It probably would have been better if I just didn't zoom in on this damn thing to begin with. There we go. Something like that. Perfect. That's way better. Yeah, there's all kinds of little details in here. I've been working on this for a very, very long time. I think I was in the end of college, and my players wanted to play, and I was like, I need a map. And I drew it. I think I was in math class. Yeah, I think I was in math class. The whole class was to take a test. That was the whole point of the class. And what do I use for my maps? I use Wonder Draft. I love Wonder Draft, which I will. Where did it go? Oh, there we go. I hit a button. But yeah, the whole class was to take a test, but it was oh my god, I'm touching everything. That was a weird sentence that I never intended to come out of my face. It was a math test that was online, but the program to do it was only at the school. So you still had to go to school to take the test. And they made us stay for the whole 2 hours of the class, even though the test took like 15 minutes. Like it was. And so I finished the test and I was like, oh, I need to do something. So I opened up a sketchbook and I just threw a bunch of random shapes in there. Sectioned them off like some terrible mosaic. And then was like, okay, boom, this'll work. And slowly over the years of playing in the games, I'm in my main game with my main players right now has been going on for like 8.5 years or something like that. We're on session 118. We are like officially like critical role status in length. It's insane. And it has been amazing. They're all barbarians. It's 3 guys. And 2 of them are barbarians. One of them's a monk, but he plays his monk like a barbarian. So when the barbarians get hit and they're raging, and they're level like 18 now, so like they take basically no damage in a combination of like rage and magic items and like saving throws. The monk thinks he could do the same thing, and he gets hit and he just gets absolutely annihilated, and then he looks at me like it's my fault. It's a great time. It is a great time. Working on a campsite for Pathfinder. Pathfinder's fun. Pathfinder is technically the first TTRPG I played. I just didn't know that at the time. Making political intrigue in large cities has been a task. Yeah, political intrigue's crazy. I don't have a preference for it, so my brain doesn't like to like do it. I once made a world map. I wanted to play TikTok suggest streams. Yes, I did too. It was very, very fun. Learning all that stuff is awesome. I loved it. It is great. The barbarian meta hits hard. It really does. I will say there's a lot of moments where I as the DM, I have to curve a lot of stuff because it turns out high-level barbarians that are doing the same thing at level 18 that they were doing at level 1 don't function very well in a game that is all about high-level magic. So I can't just have like a wizard stumble upon them and cast plane shift because they would be screwed in like every sense of the word. Or what the hell was one? The boss cast maze on one of the players, and they rolled the dice, and it's the final boss, by the way. They're level 18, so they're fighting like their final boss. It's their first encounter with them. It's supposed to be like a quick meet and greet, if you will. And more or less, the more or less, the player like got sent to the other dimension, right? They were in the labyrinth, whatever. It was all fine. And then the barbarian goes to roll. He goes, what do I got to roll? I'm like, oh, it's an intelligence saving throw. He goes, oh, okay, I have a +0. And I was like, oh, you're screwed. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, you literally can't roll high enough. He was like, what? I was like, you have a +0, so the highest you can roll is a 20. I was like, the boss's DC is 22. And he was like, oh my god, why is this boss's DC 22? I was like, it's the final boss of high-level D&D, buddy. Like, what do you mean? And so it turned into this sudden, like, moment of terror where the players realize that if the boss they're fighting is able to get a spell off, they can't do anything about it. And so suddenly it went from like, we're barbarians charging into the fray, we ignore everything, to dart between the shadows, be the rogue you always thought you were. It was crazy. It was crazy. Why does the mouse like sticks to this and I do stop it? There we go. I don't know why it keeps doing this. But yeah, this is one of the continents, and I just call it yours, which has led to some very funny moments with the pun of the word your. But yeah, I do a lot of fun stuff. Lots and lots of fun stuff. No balance to party. Oh yeah, no, nothing's balanced. I prefer homebrew anyway, so there is no balance at all. None at all. If something cool happens, I let it happen. If something dumb happens, I try to think, how do we fix this? You know, if the players want to try something fun, I'm like, okay, what rule can I bend to let them have their fun? Or if it's like a really serious, tense moment and we got to stick to the rules, it's like, yeah, not this time, buddy. It just happens like that. But yeah, so I had this brilliant idea to basically come up with a brand new setting. Yep, Rule of Cool Hex gets it. Come up with a brand new spanking setting, and I wanted my players to get in on it. I wanted them to get in on world building, to give me inspiration, to help set the scene a little bit, make them feel a bit more. What the hell's the word I want to use? Help them feel like, you know, to be a part of the world was the main thing. And also the inspiration for this game came from playing Total War 3 with some people. And we were just playing, we were all playing, it was 3 of us, and we were all playing as the 3 Cathayan factions. And we were just slowly spreading across the world, spreading the good word of Cathay and the Dragon Emperor. Which was fun. It was fantastic. I'm a Chaos player, but, you know, for the sake of hanging out with people, I could play Cathay for a little bit. And I think we were in a VC in the Discord, and somebody mentioned playing Total War, and then I made like a reference to like a Total War D&D, and somebody was like, man, that would be cool. And I was like, yes. Yes, it would be. I'm in a party of mostly a bard and a sorcerer. Oh man, that's like the other end of the spectrum, right? So it's like I got all the barbarians and smash stuff, and then there's always the party that has like a ton of charisma, and it's like they'll talk their way out of anything and everything. It's a good time. But yeah, so I kind of was thinking to myself, like, okay, if I'm gonna get my players to help me make this world, I need to come up with like a series of questions to ask and get a bunch of opinions on. And so I came up with like the really, really loose stuff, which is the questions you've kind of been peeking at right down here, and took like their opinions, their ideas, and I thought, okay, let's run with this. And I took their suggestions, and then I've been formulating some other ideas about the setting in my head as the days have gone on, but we'll get to that. Let's see here. What is this party of bards? The sorcerers, a wizard barbarian combo. Their attack scaled off how much they got. That's crazy. I don't even know how you would like do that. That's a silly, silly one. Oh Jesus! Right. See, right here is like an amazing sudden like. Oh god, why can't I? Like a shameless plug-in of like, oh, and a hype squad. Speaking of hype, try YouTube's new hype feature. Hype this video. I don't know why they added that feature. They have it disguised in like 7 other forms on a channel, just between like subscriptions, likes, and notifications. It's like, why did you need to add another one? Oh, it's so funny. But yeah, so for the sake of the setting, I came up with some very loose questions that were pretty general across the board. And oh god, 0.5 modifier? Oh, you went into freaking why can't I think of the word decimals? Like, dear god. Too much math. You must be a Pathfinder player. Call of Cthulhu? No, Pathfinder. Call of Cthulhu is meh. That's funny. Yeah, so the general questions kind of went along like this for coming up with the setting. And that was what's the god's place in the world? So like, you know, are there gods? Which I inform the players there kind of has to be, because if somebody plays a cleric or a paladin, it's like, how, where are you getting your magic? This doesn't make any sense. So it was like, what are the gods? How are they going? And like, what's the state of religion? Another one was travel between the different planes. Can you do it? How hard is it? Yada yada. How rare magic is, what people think about it. And this one we actually debated a lot more than I thought we would, which was sort of like, what's the current kind of place in history? You know, does the world have a lot of history? Is there, you know, ages that have gone past? Is there entire empires that have come and gone? Are they in the middle and there's like a few things that have happened, but like everything's still for the most part? Or is it early and like we are the trailblazers of like the first beginnings of history? It was a lot of stuff like that. And as per is the usual of any D&D players you ask any questions to, they just pick the middle lane and shut up. So people kept stealing your kills. It's, dude, kills and stealing kills, it's tough in a game of dice. Everything's randomized. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I love playing monks and just like punching people, but spellcasters, rangers, and rogues. I love playing a rogue. I don't get to play a lot of rogues, but when I do, it's so satisfying. And it's very kill steely because you just suddenly do like a bajillion damage out of nowhere. And everyone's like, dude, you've been running around like a spider monkey for the last 3 turns. Why did you just suddenly one-shot that dude? Oh, man. Yeah, the last ones here were something along the lines of like, is there any like big events going on, anything like global or large? And then if you were in the world, what's the deal with like the sky? What's the deal with like the horizon? Like, is there galaxies, constellations? You know, what are the celestial bodies? That kind of thing. And we threw a bunch of ideas around for a while. It was a session 0, as the name here suggests, but for the most part, I intended for this to only be about an hour. But it turned into what, 3 hours, 4 hours, or something like that? Oh god, a sorcerer druid combo. Oh my dear god. Fucking talk about a mad character. That is insane. You found a way to control a bird flock the size of a forest, and it derailed your campaign. Yes, I would say it would. There we go, yelling through kill stealers. That would massively do stuff. Sorcerer druid. That's see, I always get blown away when people multi-class casters, because so many of the casters don't, I can't say so many, it's like 50-50 of the casters just don't work together at all. Or you're like robbing yourself of spells or spell slots or something. Like Wizard Barbarian, great idea, awesome thought, awesome build idea, very thematic, but considering you'll never be allowed to rage, and if you do rage, you cannot cast spells or concentrate on spells, it kind of ruins the entire purpose. And then with, I don't know how it is in the 2024 rules, but I'm pretty sure you can't do anything in like Druid wild shapes with any other spell casting. Maybe that's different in the 2024 rules. I know eventually you could cast spells, but that was like level 17 or some craziness. Usually the ones people combine are like the ones that have the same stat, so they ain't got to worry about that. So like Paladin Sorcerer, Paladin Warlock, you know, a Bard. I've seen a Bard Paladin. That was a nifty one. The person playing it never rolled very well, but if they did, it would have been kind of nifty. It would have been kind of nifty. Probably just for all the skills. Like a skill monkey paladin, like, oh my god. All I know is everyone was drunk. That does explain it. That doesn't may explain it. That does explain it. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, so kind of zeroing back in here, the things we kind of came up with this was what's the gods' place in the world and what's the state of religion? And we kind of came to this consensus that the gods are real, they are well known in like their various regions, and they are actually like on the world with people. So I was thinking something between the lines of like Greek mythology and Genshin, but the more and more we talked about it, it kind of with other ideas that came about later, it kind of went full Genshin, which is cool and also kind of just lazy. But we'll see what we can do with it. And then as for religions, it's because of how the setting is being built, religions still exist, but there have been some shifts, more or less. Is there travel between the planes? Yes, there is. However, travel is very difficult because the deities of the world, now that they don't, well, spoiler alert, they no longer sit in their chairs on high. So now they have to essentially manually manage the veil between worlds. And so they have gotten very, very specific with who and how and when and if you can even go between the worlds. They have built checkpoints. They have built a wall, if you will. But yeah, it's gonna be nifty. It's gonna be nifty. I have so many ideas that I want to blow out and just throw into the world. But magic, how rare is it? Exactly when you think you're cooking, but it already exists. That's everything, unfortunately. It sucks. You have to really, really go crazy if you don't want to just straight up copy something. It's a terrible, terrible thing. But as for magic, magic is now common. It was not prior. And because it's the gods down on the world now, there's sort of this push for divine magic and the sort of arcane and primal, nature and the more astute arcane magics are being pushed to the wayside in sort of it's like a magical segregation war in a way, with gods and other divine entities being right in front of you. The ability to easily believe in divine magic as per anything else is very easy to do. The propagation themselves is here and is very confused as to what's happening. Welcome to the stream, guy. Why are they no longer on their thrones? We will get to that, don't you worry. So magic it was rare, but now it's common, and there are pushes and pulls for which magics are the more preferred and or accepted or shunned. History, they went right for the middle, but because there is now magic, technology is something that could be more easily achieved. So it's caused some scenarios. It turns out that the creation of steampunk is a lot easier when you could just snap your fingers and boil water. Turns out it's a lot easier to skip that process entirely. So, will there be firearms in this world? Yes, I think so. Will there be other technologies? Yes, but I think it will have a magical twist in order to make it, I almost said existable, but that's not a word, in order to make it tangible, I guess. For example, a puppeteer class. That's not a feasible thing ever in reality. You couldn't do it. But, slap it with that lovely brand called Harry Potter magic and suddenly you can do anything. Everybody loves a soft magic system until you realize hard magic systems are better. There's some literary writing terms. But yeah, so now we move on to this one, and this is going to answer your question. So, events that are affecting the globe or a large area. And I had this sort of idea, which was like, well, wait, if the gods are on the ground, what if they're there because they're not in heaven. I know that sounds like a weird thing, but then somebody also then suggested, like, yeah, what if they got kicked out? And then I made a joke about our Lord and Savior Cthulhu. And everyone was like, that's a great idea. And so basically, and it doesn't have to be Cthulhu, we were just joking around. Basically what happened is someone or something came along, jumped into the divine realm, and literally kicked the gods out. Beat them up, broke their stuff, destroyed everything, and literally cast them down to the mortal world. Along with the actual, like, divine realm of the gods. So the setting, the sort of cataclysm that sets off the history of this world is that the sky literally fell. So the sky fell, the gods fell with it, and suddenly there was nobody up in their high perch watching and monitoring the world anymore. And this sort of realm of magic falling and smashing into the world caused all sorts of issues. All sorts of issues. But what happened to the invader? We're not sure. I'm still in the process of building this game. I'm still in the process of it. I have no idea what it is. But I do really like the idea of Cthulhu. That seems very fun. Is it an original idea? No. Is it a cool idea? Yeah. So now, when we go to this question, celestial bodies, blah, 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 one of my players was obsessed with the idea of there being 2 moons. Don't know why. I asked them why, and all they told me was, it's cool. So there's 2 moons, because it's cool. Is there any angel-like beings or divine servants? So I think there is. I've had a few thoughts about it. I like the idea of there being, like, the gods realm, and then, like, their servants realm, and then the mortal realm. So, like, when the gods place fell, it literally ripped through the angels place before it got there. It's just a thought. I haven't put too much into it, but I like the idea of it. Gods are being bad, so put in time out. I don't know. I don't know yet. It's all in the making. I think one of the big cool things. 2 moons. That is pretty cool. I think we'll keep it real simple with moons, but that is a pretty nifty idea. But so basically 2 moons, and the side effect of, I think, these different realms falling from the sky is that now the sky essentially, like, you know when something gets really distant, it starts to turn like a dull blue? Like, you could see, like, the horizon or the edge of the ocean or, like, a mountain range in the distance. It like starts to turn blue and literally fade into the background of the sky. I think there'll be different parts in the sky or, like, on the edges of the horizon where it looks like the sides of, like, a cliff or the top edge of a hole. So it literally looks like, if you squint high enough or you catch, like, you know, the right time of day, the sky literally looks like it's just a giant hole. But the other thing this does is it lets me, the creator of the world, kind of have the excuse for there to be, like, floating islands. Oh, that's a really cool thing. I'm stealing that. Yeah, absolutely. Have at it, man. Take it. Yeah. I've wanted to do, like, a community-driven, like, D&D world building idea for, like, a year now. I thought it would just be so cool to, like, sit down one day with the community and we do, like, polls and questionnaires and stuff, and we just, like, start to build a place and flesh it out. Do art contests for, like, different regions or nations or, like, factions flags. I think that would just be so cool. We're not quite there, but that would be really cool. That was kind of what this channel was supposed to be, and then I played Star Rail, and then it didn't become that. So this is just a fun little stream that I'm kind of doing what I meant to do, and it's fun. I'm loving it. It's enjoyable. I told my players to not watch this, but a couple of them have already decided that that is not the goal. Oh, really bad problem going to death. So it's weird for me because like when you world build, there's really only two ways to go about it. No, hold on, let me through here. So yeah, what do we do? So when you world build, you basically do this. You either go from big to small, which is like you start with, you know, potentially the creation of the universe, and you work your way down in stages until finally you get to what is in little Timmy's back pocket. Or likewise, you do the opposite, which is you start with little Timmy and his town of Timmy Town, and then you work up to the local area. You work up to what's the local lord of the area. If there's a lord controlling an area, there's probably a king that he takes taxes and tithe from the area and sends it to him. And if there's a kingdom, that means there's an entire region of the world. And if there's a kingdom, there's probably an army. And you only need an army if you need something to defend against. So X. I was telling Rat about it. I was telling her you might not want to watch it just in case, like, while we're world building, we come up with something that's potentially a spoiler. And she just sort of, like, shrugged at me and said, okay. So, who knows? Maybe. Like, right now, we haven't really discussed anything, but that is what it is. But, yeah, so you start small. You start with the local town, and you work your way up to what's basically surrounding each thing, and then eventually you get to the universe. There are pros and cons to both. I gravitate more towards big to small. I like to know the space I'm working with. I like to know my canvas and what's on it before, you know, the shapes of everything and how it fits together before I start working on anything. For the sake of this game, I did start small to big just to try it out, and I very quickly realized why I hate this so much. It was really, really annoying to like try and make like a local place, and then when I start asking questions of how that place functions, I don't have an answer because I don't know why it would need to function that way because I haven't worked on anything bigger, and it got so complicated so quick. I was like, oh, it's a lumber town. They send wood to someone. it was rough. It was rough. I'll say that. Meanwhile, you know, you start big to small, and it's like, okay, here's the kingdom, bam, and now you start picking the places in there, and suddenly the towns and the resources they look for make way more sense. And so I prefer it that way, which exactly, embrace it, Steve. My mind juices are flowing, dude. That's a side effect of being a DM. The brain doesn't turn off. It doesn't stop. It never does. You're like on the bus and you're like sitting there like minding your own business, and you got a really cool D&D idea, and you look at the guy next to you and you're just like, hey man, you play D&D? Oh man, it's a fun time. Usually start small except for when you get sudden inspiration. I commend you. I can't do it. I've tried. I get lost in the sauce if I start it that way. But yeah, so this is sort of the outline we went with, and I've been running with it since then. And basically, I came up with a few things. This is kind of what I came up with for it. So, still don't have a name for the place, but basically, the theme, if you want to call it that. So, it's, what do we call it here? We can call it, we got to give it some fancy words to really make it pop a little bit or make someone question it. Be like, what the hell? That's stupid. Tell me more. So, I think I went with something like newly high fantasy. Because I'm thinking that, let's see here. I'm thinking that magic wasn't common. Protecting the universe is heat death. I'm thinking magic wasn't common, but now that all this divinity and otherworldly stuff has just like fallen down, now it's common. And so people are trying to adapt and collect and figure out what this new thing is. So I think it's a newly high fantasy setting. Renaissance fantasy work as a term? Yes, Renaissance fantasy would work. What the hell's that game I'm thinking of? I mean, depending which Assassin's Creed you play, that could be true. What's the game? New World? No. You literally play as like Italy invading like Native Americans, and they're summoning like weird like forest effigies to murder you. What is that game called? They just came out with a sequel. I can't remember it. It's gonna kill me. It'll hit me in like 2 hours from now. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm thinking newly high fantasy, and then the idea of the sky falling. That's a pretty big scenario, and I'm thinking it lit the world up, like annihilated it for like post-apocalyptic. But as much as I love post-apocalyptic, I don't think this is going to function as a survival game as much as it does like a magical adventure kind of setting. So the term I came up with for it was post-apocalyptic. How do you spell that? That's not how you spell that. How do you spell that? There we go. There's an A in there, apparently. But yeah, that's what I came... So, like... Classic Chicken Little story. Chicken Little, famous summon from hit series Kingdom Hearts 2. But yeah, so... I like the idea of the sky fell, everything was terrible, but now everything has like recovered. So technically that would, cancel out and it wouldn't be post-apocalyptic. They would just have a history of something catastrophic. But I think calling it post-apocalyptic like raises an eyebrow better. Because they're like, what do you post of what? Like post of the post? Like, was it bad? Was it apocalyptic? Some silly shit like that. But I'm thinking it's that, and then because the divine realm fell, or, wherever the gods live, heaven, blah, 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 who knows, whatever you want to call it, Shangri-La and whatnot. Magic's everywhere. And I think this should affect, like, the world and the wildlife. And so that's an excuse for how... No, it wasn't No Man's Sky. It would, oh god, I'm not gonna remember. It straight up was like colonial, like invasion of Native America. People have like flintlock weaponry. They have like the curled hats with the feathers. Our Land? No, I can't remember it. It was like a third person. It was kind of like The Witcher in like how it was like a third person action adventure. It'll kill me. I'm not gonna be able to think of it. It's gonna kill me, but. So the idea of divine and immortal and otherworldly energy being on the planet, I think it really creates an excuse for you to go ham with a lot of things. So like stuff that originally didn't happen because there was, people to control the world. Now they're no longer there. So like what if, say there was giants sleeping in the mountains, and the giants never came out and caused trouble because Zeus would throw lightning bolts at them. Well, now there's no Zeus throwing lightning bolts, and so suddenly in the neighboring town over, giants are coming down from the mountain in the first time in like 1,000 years, or some silly shit. So I think a lot of excuses for that. Something that does interest me about creating this setting, though, is that basically there would have been like a map and places and peoples prior to that apocalypse. And then when that big event happened, all of it got rewritten. So did you win yet? Sheppo, I win every day. Oh, yeah, no, there's definitely going to be pieces of it. I definitely like stuff everywhere. Like big chunks of rock, like that Jeppo leaves. What a guy. Or like I like the idea of people coming across something and they're like, wow, a mountain in the middle of this field. That's crazy. And then somebody looks at them and is just like, it's not a mountain. It's just a big rock. And they're like, but that's the size of a mountain. Just something silly like that. Or an idea that I thought was really cool was like a god of the sea, or like some giant divinity of water falls from the sky, and where he lands on impact, it like Greedfall. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Cat Fitzgerald. Thank you so much. It was Greedfall. Oh, I can get that off my shoulders now. Jesus. Whew. That felt good to not have to worry about it anymore. Thank you so much for finding that out. Oh man. But yeah, I like the idea that like, because in D&D the gods, they typically control like a domain, right? There's like storm, war, life, light, trickery, you know, all the ones for clerics and paladins. And so I like the idea that the gods would still be divided into those domains. And the idea of like a god of like an ocean domain falls, hits the ground, dies, and then his corpse literally turns into an ocean. And so on a map now, there's literally just like a ocean-sized like hole in the middle of a continent. Like that would be crazy. Because like, I think when this sort of like godfall thing happened, not all of them survive, right? There's definitely some that die, which leads into the idea of like religions dying out. And then the ones that survive, because they're no longer in a realm filled with magic, they basically have to downgrade themselves in order to survive. In a way that like, you know, animals evolve to get smaller to avoid certain predators or to make up for human expansion. I think like these divine entities would have changed shape and form in order to adapt to a world that is not used to, or to adapt to a place where there's not as much magic, right? Because they would be like magical creatures in a way. Exactly, a whole god dying of fall damage. Dude, I mean, if you're falling from the sky, it's a d6 per 10 foot. Just saying. Just saying, that's a lot of d6s. You're basically playing Tzeentch and Tabletop Warhammer at that point. Freaking pink horrors letting it fly. I love that you said that. That's so beautiful. Dying of fall. It shouldn't be that funny. That's amazing. That's really amazing. But yeah, I definitely think, and I think it would be cool to introduce like just what came in and did that, because then you could have some like crazy cryptic creatures that you know can take on the divine, and your players are just like, okay, we're not going over there. That would be pretty cool. I like that idea. That would be crazy. All right, what else do we got here? And so what would like the results of the world be? Basically, if the gods are now down there, religions would probably flock to them. Or maybe there were some weird religions that let's see here. As soon as I learn how to spell. How do you spell that word? Apparently it is. There would be like groups that would flock to the god. There might be even be some groups that think like, wait a minute, my god's not this weak, and they literally overthrow and kill him and start a new religion. That would be crazy. That would be very tweaky. Like that a lot. Might work. Now I'm thinking of things, but yeah. So that's kind of the beginning of the setting, or maybe like a secondary beginning of the setting. I need to build the setting that gets destroyed by the new setting. And the followers of Tezahazahuza are back. But I think it would be very, very fun. Very, very fun. I stray. Too good. But yeah, so basically, I think these great influences came down and have started to change the world, and that's where the players come in. They now get to interact with this craziness. And it gets a little weird for paladins and clerics because they're already divine, so it's like, how do you get your divine magic now at this point? Any cults focused on the heavenly usurpers? Probably. More than likely. We got to get there. I think there definitely would be like some faiths and some cults. Like a lot of, I think definitely like an anti-divine cult for sure. My brain very quickly goes to Godskin Apostles from Elden Ring. Love those guys. Don't like fighting them, but everything else is great. But yeah, so that's sort of the general plot that I'm going with this thing, this amalgamation. So players may eventually meet these entities, players may never meet them. The gods will have different goals, like maybe some of them realized what happened and they're just trying to live a new life down there. Maybe some of them have realized like the age of gods is past and they're moving along. Or maybe some of them are striving to reobtain their ancient power and go back up and like reclaim it or something. I don't know. It's all up in the air. It's all up in the air. But one of the things I did for my players is I told them when we were going to start the game, I said, I am going to be making the starting area. I'm making the starter area. But the neighboring areas, I'm going to let the players help me make. And better connections. See, that was an idea, but then I had to remember that some of these people are level 1. So the most vicious thing they've ever fought in is their house cat when it's in a bad mood. So the idea that they're like a chosen agent of a god is basically a far-flung dream. So it has to be something in a way that is accessible to literally anyone. Because if I make it a setting and people play in it, and one of them just decides, I want to be a cleric, whatever backstory they come up with for that cleric, it just has to be able to work. So making all of them chosen, I don't know. But maybe making it so that like very similar to like a Christian-esque thing where they tell you like this is the blood of Christ and they give you the wine glass. Maybe that's literally what it is like the god donates blood to this temple and they let certain people drink from it, and that's how you get your divine magic. Something like that might work. Or yeah, also, it depends on the backstory. They might literally meet the god and they gives him a pat on the back and says, good luck, chump. And then boom, you're divine. You have divine magic. But I digress. I'm making the starting area for this party. I'm coming up with everything in it, but I let them help me with the neighboring areas. So there was 4 players, and I came up with 4 questions, and we literally just went around the board, and every time we finished one, all the questions rotated 1. And this is what we ended up coming up with. We had 4 regions that neighbor the starting region. And so the 4 questions were the god or gods or just any general power that maybe it's just general, a general power that influences that region, the biome, the geography, the sort of general terrain of the place, a big current event, and what is the border that you have to cross to get to that region. Those were the 4 questions, and that's how I did this rotation. So, the very first region we came up with, players chose some sort of storm god. So it is a storm god. The area is mountains and hills. The event going on is interruptions to trade. And the border you have to cross is a wall of mountains. Now, each of these was literally just almost word for word what the player said to me when I asked the question. It is up to complete interpretation. I have no good way to tell you right or wrong out of this, but this is basically all I have to go on to make these neighboring areas. And I think it's a great challenge as a DM. You get 4 words and you got to come up with a whole freaking place for it. I love it. So, I mean, stormy mountains and hills, that's awesome. Interruptions to trade, that could be anything. Like, that could be literally anything. It could be physically something stopping it, like maybe the terrain is what stops it. It could be bandits, it could be monsters, it could be local businesses not wanting to purchase anything anymore. It could be like an increase in like a amount of money you have to pay for a checkpoint pass, like all kinds of stuff. All kinds of weird stuff it could be. And then obviously if it's a mountainy area, crossing a wall of mountains makes a lot of sense. As for the second region, this one, I'm not going to lie, it started weird. And then it slowly got like cooler and cooler. Like really cool. I was like genuinely surprised it kind of turned into this. And so they picked a god of knowledge. So like the arcane arts and whatnot. And for the geography, the terrain of the area, they said coastal. And I was like, oh, so it's tropical. And they were like, oh, I didn't think of the temperature. And I was like, well, is it tropical? Is it temperate? Are they in the Arctic? And the guy was like, oh, I think it should be in the Arctic. So there's some god of knowledge somewhere in the far north with like ice-encrusted coastlines and icebergs floating around. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool now. The event that is going on is apparently this place is having a civil war. And there's Mayor. I'm surprised you were not here earlier, guy. You usually love the hangout and chill stuff, so you're probably busy though. But yeah, we're talking dur and dur. Lots of fun dur and dur. But yeah, so it became a domain of knowledge in the far north, which is kind of a weird place. It's currently under a civil war. I have not come up with the factions or the sides. I have no idea who this war is between. And the border that you have to cross to get there is the player in question that came up with this simply called it the Great Wall. I have nothing else to go on after that. And then you have to be literate to pass was just sort of a joke that I put there for fun. Storm God's always hard to write for me because when in storms, they always give me feelings of chaos, but it's hard to write for me. I mean, they're all right. If it's anything from like real world stuff, then gods of storms typically represent the sky, and they're usually the leader. And if they're a leader, that chaos is a lot less what they lean into. But also historically, real is most gods of storms in the sky also slay some kind of great serpent. Dead serious, look up like any religion. It's a weird coincidence. Well, war isn't very wise. Oh man, the Greeks want to talk to you. Early Christianity was a unique thing. Manga versus regular literature. That's amazing. Read from the left, you filthy peasant. Slaps. Should I be here or will you get spoiled? I knew Rat was here because I immediately saw something get deleted. But we're just going over stuff. It's fine. But so yeah, there's this Great Wall. It's in the far icy north. There's a civil war going on, and it's all about a domain of knowledge. And one of the players came to this sort of idea where they were like, well, wait, we just talked about how there's divine magic everywhere. What if a god of knowledge while divine is spreading knowledge, so the arcane. And so that's kind of where the Civil War comes from, is it's a clash, if you will, of people that support a more divine viewpoint and those that support the more learned arcane standpoint. That is a lot of hate from someone who literally plays D&D. But it's okay, Rat. We are still happy that you come here and do your job. But yeah, so that area became very interesting to me. I really like the idea of it. Just like a cold, icy north. And whenever I think of like a Great Wall in the north, all I can think of is Briggs from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I think that's just a amazing thought. Or the Wall from Game of Thrones. Go forth, Rat, be forever chained to the worthy sessions. To be fair, she has only ever played charisma-based characters, so that's funny. So, moving on from that one, we got to the third region. This is the one that arguably throws me off the most. And the individual that came up with this was a fellow YouTuber, a Yoimiya fan, a very big Yoimiya fan of the Genshin variety. And they looked at me, and I shit you not, I quote, in the Discord, they look at me and said, "Fuck it. This region is influenced by a god of the arts." And I was like, what is that supposed to mean? And so I came up with a couple different terminologies for it, and my brain ended up sticking to Susano from Final Fantasy XIV, which was, you know, a god of the, what the hell was it? The primal of revelry. There we go. It's a fabrication. What if the sky isn't real? It's not even there anymore, you silly. But, so, it's a place basically influenced by otherworldly powers of the arts, celebration, revelry, debauchery, a lot of like Greek Dionysus. It's in a very straightforward forest and hills type area. The current event that is happening in this place is a great celebration. So it's the carnival from Wuwa, more or less, but with less of an ocean motif. Maybe, don't know. And the border crossing, which was... This was probably the most interesting one. The player said, I don't know, maybe the border is just infested with monsters. And that's when this idea kind of hit me of, if it's a place filled with, you know, art and song and people, you know, expressing themselves in crazy ways, what if whatever power has taken hold in this place has basically created this sort of vacuum where they are bringing all of like the good and positive things into it, but it has simultaneously like repressed and pushed out all the bad stuff. And so now it's this basically region of joy and happiness and paradise that is just surrounded by just a shitstorm of terrible. And I was like, that's an amazing idea, because then that could cause a lot of strife with like border towns constantly dealing with like monsters and bad weather. And meanwhile, everyone who lives in the middle, it's basically, what's that game where what the heck's the game? Not Stanley Parable. Joy? Happy? I can't remember it. Where like the guys are wearing the masks and with like the smiley faces, and they're basically, they have you like in the insane asylum, and they're like forcing you to be happy. Rat, shut up. Get out of here. We Happy Few, thank you. Oh my god. I couldn't think of it. I haven't played it yet, but I knew someone would know. Man, it's one of the greatest perks to being a fucking streamer. That's amazing. That is amazing. Loud particles increase your hearing for local monster thwart activity. Yeah, the monsters are literally. Oh, that could literally be an NPC, is like a hag in the woods who is like complaining to the local lord about like sound pollution. That's hilarious. I love that. That's fucking hilarious. Oh man. I love that. Okay. So yeah, like I think the hardest thing about this area is going to be getting to it, because you're going to have to go through this border of bullshit only to realize that everything's happier on the inside. And then maybe it's We Happy Few and everything is horribly terrible. Maybe the Fae come into this somehow. The Fae have to. That's just how it works, right? All right. And then we have the last area. This is the one where all the people answering the questions finally kind of figured out the gist of how the questions worked, and they realized, wait a minute, anything we say is probably just going to work. And they all just chimed off each other and went batshit insane like the fucking lunatics they are. So the last region that is around them, it is not under the effect of any god. It is literally just the raw elements that are influencing this area. And the biome and geography is literally elemental chaos. So there is going to be rolling hills, plains of burning fire, forests, rivers, floating islands, winds, moving shit, maybe even floating rivers. I don't know. It's going to be crazy. And the big thing that is going on there is that there is apparently a super volcano that is probably going to be the most singular striking feature of that region, which is hilarious, by the way. And it's funny because the person who said this just said, I don't know, maybe there's a volcano. And then somebody else said, a super volcano? And then I was like, oh, it's a super volcano. And then for the border crossing, like how you get to this place, who was this? I think this was YouTuber Guy came up with this one. They said the border to get there was like a sea of fire or a river of lava. And we were all just laughing, being like, it is straight up, it's Australia. Yeah, you got me. And we were like, oh no. Oh no. It was bad. It was funny, but it was bad. And so this is what we came up with. This is the insanity that is surrounding the starter area of this place. Is the world round or flat? Who knows? Who knows? It's fantasy. It could be whatever the hell it wants. But yeah, this is kind of what we came up with, and I really liked this. I might either keep this the same or I'll modify it a bit, and I think I would post this like questionnaire almost into the Discord whenever I need a new region to come up with, and I would just let the community spitball shit, and then I would just like pick one or two favorites, and that would become like an area in the setting. I think that's a really fun idea. It's a very, very fun idea. Probably going to be a lot to do with druids in this area, is going to be my guess. Probably. But yeah, what else do we got? Character creation. Yeah, that already happened. We're good. Okay. So for this game, I'm also doing some optional homebrews. Now, I love homebrew. It's about the only thing I do in D&D anymore. And it's for two reasons. A, I just enjoy it more because I can do whatever the hell I want. I ain't got to worry about anything. and B, because I have a player who he out of nowhere, I don't know why this happened. It took years for this to happen, but he suddenly developed a penchant for getting on his phone or laptop and Googling everything that happened in our game. Don't know why he did this. But we would be fighting a monster and he would Google the monster. And then he would like tell the other players like, hey, does anyone have thunder damage? It's vulnerable to thunder damage. And I would look at him and be like, you don't know that. And he'd be like, yeah, I do. It's in the monster manual. And I'm like, what do you mean? Or we would be fighting a creature that cast a spell, and then like randomly he would be like, actually, his spell wore off because it says right here it only lasts for 2 turns. And I'd just be like, what the fuck? What are you doing? And I would tell him that's like metagaming and cheating, and he'd be like, no, it's not. It was terrible. Because he, even to this day, this person still thinks they're in the right. And it's terrible. And then it's funny because I knew it got him one day because we were fighting a monster, and he looked at me and said, what is this monster called? And I was like, oh, it's the Herald of Ashenfa. And he'd be like, okay, cool. How do you spell that? And I'd say it, and then he would type it into Google, and he'd be like, which monster manual is that in? And I'd be like, it's not in one. And he would be like, well, how am I supposed to know what it does? And I look at him, and I'm like, you don't. It was a bad time. It was a bad time. I'm trying to teach him. I'm trying to teach him out of it, but it's a long, arduous process. It is tough to make grown adults change their minds on how things work. But yeah, for the sake of the game that I'm going to be playing in and DMing for, we have come up with a set of optional rules. And one of them is more realistic healing. I never minded it for years, but eventually it got to this point where in D&D I was like, how is it possible that we heal hundreds of HP overnight? Like, you lost your finger. Why is it back? Like, you got stabbed in the kidney and your leg is broken. Why is all of that fixed? You took an 8-hour nap. And it was... Is that the Dreamer? That is the Dreamer. There's another fun individual that I have had the pleasure of playing D&D with. You just missed out on a couple bits of the setting and kind of how I'm doing this, but now we're on to the optional rules of what I'm doing for my next D&D game. So it's the Far Cry healing method. It really is. We just kind of take a knife and like pop a maggot out of there and we're good. My arm's broken. Okay, we're good. Like, oh man. Yeah, exactly. D&D party uses rest. It's super effective. But yeah, it didn't make any sense. I didn't like it, and Pathfinder has a rule set that I don't mind. I'm not 100% for Pathfinder, but of what I have played of it, I do like a couple of their rules. 2E specifically. 1E is terrifying. Even though I've played 1E, but I haven't played 2E, so it's a weird dynamic. But basically, and these rules are going to get fleshed out. They're not fully in-depth just yet. But basically, a short rest, still an hour. Long rest, still 8 hours. You can take any number of short rests you want until you would normally run out of hit dice. For the sake of this game, since hit dice, I don't know what function they're going to play yet, short rests need some work. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it just yet. But with long rests, you heal an amount equal to your level plus your con modifier. So, if you're an average character at level 1, you're probably going to heal 3 HP per night, per long rest. It's magic. I ain't going to explain. But yeah, so recovery is basically going to be quite slow. I'm thinking of coming up with like homebrew feats or like some character skills or like artisan, like crafting abilities that can adjust that a little bit to make that a little less terrible in some cases. Because, if you did this at high level and you have 100 fucking HP, and you're a rogue, so you're not leveling, you're not leveling Constitution, you're going to get, what, 8 HP a night, maybe 10, 11 HP a night. Like, it's going to take you 10 whole days to heal. So, that is why, luckily, I am a fan of downtime activities. I love them. So, this is basically going to incentivize players to look into downtime activities, non-combat, non-adventuring stuff. Maybe it's just scale on level. It does scale on level. It scales on your level plus your con modifier. So around level 10, you're going to be healing 10, probably 12, 11 HP, something like that. At low level, it's a huge difference. At high levels, it's just sort of helpful. But basically, if you get your butt whooped and you are out and about in town and you know it's going to take you 7 days to heal, you get 7 days. You might as well do a downtime activity. You could do something simple like get a job or help out around town, make a little bit of extra money in that time frame. You could do some crafting, get yourself some equipment before you go on. You could spread rumors. You could try and get information. You could try and procure goods. Get yourself some information and set up, get advantage on like some other stuff. What do you mean I can't go fight to fight and be ready every day? Oh, don't you worry, because this leads us into the next homebrew rule, which is wounds and lingering conditions. Now, what about a fatigue mechanic? I don't want to add fatigue. I do love the mechanic. Like, personally, I love it. But I'm trying to have this not be too much of a survival game. Like, I want people to think about survival, but I don't want them to have to commit to survival, right? What about spell slots? So yeah, any other resource, spells, abilities, magic weapon charges, stuff like that, all of that still heals like normal. It's specifically your HP that doesn't, that gets adjusted. But going from wounds here, so 5th edition actually has this as an optional rule in the book. You could go to it. You could find it there. It's in a very small section. Nobody ever sees it. I love it. Nobody else does, apparently. So basically, this makes losing HP actually kind of feel important, because it's not like normal D&D where whether you are at full health or whether you have literally a single point of HP, you are equally as effective and capable of the same output of effort, right? 100 HP and 1 HP are not any different. You are just a little more terrified at 1 HP. With this, once you hit the half health mark and once you hit the quarter health mark, your character will automatically obtain an injury. And I'm going to make a table for these. I'm going to look up and see if other people have done stuff like this. I'm going to be pulling all kinds of stuff in for this. But basically, at half HP, your character will gain a minor wound. And it's basically just a small debuff. And when you hit a quarter HP, you will get a major wound. And this one is more of a big deal. They also don't go away when you rest. So you have to get them repaired, basically. You have to heal these. This can be magically. Magically is the easiest method to get rid of wounds, is to use magic, because it's straight up snap your fingers done. Or rolling medicine checks with healer's kits, or at a clinic or something like that you go into in town. And you have to roll checks to try and remove these wounds. What about adrenaline? Don't know what it is. Probably nothing like that. Don't want to go too much into it. A minor wound called stub toe. We'll get to that. So if you don't get these wounds removed in time, you will get a lingering wound, or basically a permanent wound. Your character will have, basically, you'll get character development that you probably might not like. So in the case of the example we have here, I came up with this in the spur of the moment when I was explaining it to my players. So the minor wound here is a sprained ankle. A little bit of debuff to dex, a little bit of debuff to movement. Nothing crazy, but when the numbers are crunching, that could be all the difference. And then we have the major one. Full on disadvantage and straight up half movement. That's 10 more feet of movement that you lose. And disadvantage is like considered to be like a -4 to -5. So it's double what the previous one is. So it's a big jump. And if you're not able to get this healed, your character basically gets like a permanent limp. You have a little bit of a hobble to you. And it is a permanent -5 movement speed. So, and I'm going to come up with all kinds of these, not just for like broken limbs or anything, but I'm thinking like a missing eye, your hearing goes, maybe conditions for like fear and charm and insanity. It's like maybe your character, if you take too much psychic damage, your character literally develops like some sort of anxiety condition. Like all kinds of ways. Or like if they're insane, now they have an imaginary friend. That's like the lingering injury. You have a special friend that only you can see and nobody else. I think it's funny. But that's just me. But yeah, so lingering conditions. I think this will make HP like more important. Because otherwise, I think in the 2024 rules, they added the bloodied condition for half HP, which is a crossover from 3rd edition and Pathfinder. And as far as I'm aware, there's no healing, or there's no like, not healing, what I'm saying, there's no mechanic for what bloodied does to you. Like no character has a skill that says like, when you're bloodied, do more damage. I don't think anybody in the 2024 rules has something like that. Is there a way to lose lingering wounds via high tier cleric magic? Yes, I think there would absolutely need to be. It adds more variety, and it gives your player hope if they have a gimp leg. I think like a greater restoration would kind of do that but maybe not like a Lester. I think that's definitely a good idea. Or even like druids too, with like regenerate. Absolutely. Absolutely. Or when it comes to like divine characters, whether they follow like a faith or they're a member of a cult or something, I think definitely like an offering and maybe an oblation to some god, they might be able to like make a trade. That would be cool. Sir, I'll give you my magical familiar or my rogue's pet owlbear, but please get rid of my schizophrenia. Like, that's funny. And then this one. This one is fun. I love this. The quick slot inventory. I've used this one a couple times, but of course, due to whatever weird coincidence that exists in the world, the games where I have done this rule specifically don't last very long, so we're not in it long enough for me to see like the pros and cons to it. But typically to do something with your inventory, that is a utilize action. It's a whole action. It's your whole turn. Your whole turn is to get into your backpack and get that piece of rope out. Your whole turn is to chug that potion just so that you can get hit again right afterwards and lose even more HP. You know, your whole turn is to get that torch out so that you can see in the dark, but now you're using a torch in one hand and you can't even hold your greatsword anymore. Feels bad. So with this, you now have basically a secondary inventory that is a bonus action to use. So players basically get to pick what's in their inventory, what's in their quick inventory. It's your Batman utility belt. For most players, this is probably going to be a potion of healing, some sort of anti-venom, a vial of alchemist fire, a rope, a second weapon, blah, 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 you name it. And what this also does is it adds extra inventory. So now there's a whole extra item you can craft. You know, go out, kill like I don't know what the hell would you kill, like a brown bear or like a dire bear, come back and craft a belt pouch that has 2 slots. So now you can have your potion in one, and then you can have a
what the hell's another one? Like a thunderstone in the other. All kinds of stuff. All kinds of fun stuff. You could just mess with this. And it also makes players have to plan a bit more. They're like, okay, what do I want in there? What do I want in something else? What can I do here? It's just a nice little add-on. It's a nice little add-on. I like it. It's not just the critical role and make it a bonus action, move on, which I have no problem with. I've done that for years. But it gets annoying when like your players are in a hard fight and instead of using a bonus action to chug their own potion, they constantly use a bonus action to like shove a potion in someone else's mouth. And so like in my games, potions have basically been rendered to, oh, someone went to 0, I'm going to get them up. Boom, potion. And that's all potions are in my like big campaigns now. They're just save the guy at 0. They're not like, it's not even a healing potion anymore, really. It's kind of a shame. But with this, potions become far more limited in their access unless you want to use an entire action. And most of my parties are usually filled with insane barbarians, so they don't want to use their action to drink or give someone else a potion. They want to use it to kill something. So this adds much more choice. And then we get to another one, which I genuinely can't wait to work on because exploration and travel are some of my favorite things in games. I love just running around, seeing things, interacting with things, traveling across the land, doing like a hex crawl. Basically, I love hex crawls in D&D. I love them a lot. It's great. Figure uses a bonus action for you, action for another. Yeah. I've asked my players if they wanted to switch to that. They very quickly said no, because obviously it was there to their demerit. But we were also halfway through the campaign, and they didn't want to change how it worked now. So it was like, okay, that's fair. Maybe in the next one. But yeah, I have had that same thought. I like that idea way more. I like it. It makes more sense. But basically, for travel and exploration, one of the great pillars of, TTRPGs, for most of them, some of them, travel. And it's usually done very terribly. And that's a 50-50 case. It's either done terribly because the game is not mechanically made for it. They're just sort of slotting it in there and telling you that it's great. Or there's just like the DM can't, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to carry it out very well. They just crack open Xanathar's Guide to Everything, and they're like, okay, my players are level 4. They're in the hills. Roll a D100. You get attacked by 30 hyena pups. It's like, bro, we're on a quest to find the necromancer. Why are there a bunch of young hyenas out here? What happened? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So, to remedy that, most DMs usually A, don't use a random encounter table, or B, they don't travel. They don't travel at all. And I was watching a guy the other day. I watch all kinds of D&D videos, but the one I was watching the other day, what the hell is his name? Fantasy Forge? Forge Fantasy? I think it's Fantasy Forge, I think is the guy's name. But it was either him or whoever the hell the magic hat is. I can't remember which one it is. But they basically had events tied to, it was color coded, and they had the number of events that would happen. It was locked in. Like, there was no random roll to see if it even happened. You were locked into it, and it was based on the distance you traveled. And the guy didn't measure travel distance by like the actual number. He didn't measure it by like feet or miles or hexes. He basically just decided, okay, it's a quick trip, a medium trip, or a long trip. And each one had a different number of events. Typically, shorter it is, 1 event, longer 2, et cetera, et cetera. And his events were color coded. So it was like green was like a treasure or like a gathering event. Yellow was like an exploration event, and red was a combat. And instead of rolling for the event happening, he would have the player roll for the color. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I like that. I might mess with that. But I also do enjoy the hex crawl. I like knowing that I'm going step by step on a grid. It feels good. It's very gamey, very chessboardy. I like it a lot. But for that travel, I thought it would be fun if players had things that actually affected that travel, that wasn't just somebody making a survival check or making a perception check. You know, they actually did something based on their character that made the travel feel different, made it feel better. And that is where I came up with this shit really quickly. So you have the traveling or exploration classes. There's 4 of them. They each have 5 levels. Every time you get an ability score improvement, you automatically get a level in one of these of your choice. So you can level up 1 to the next level, or you can pick up a new one. So you have the navigator. This is the person who does the survival check. They are responsible for making sure you get from one spot to the next in the quickest manner possible. So if a trip is going to take 2 days and they roll really well, it takes 1 day. If it's going to take 2 days and they roll really poorly, it's going to take 3 days. Or you can get lost. Once you get lost, you got to take away the map, and then they keep making these checks every so often to just see if you can put the map back on the table for them to see where they are. So basically, this is the time saver guy. And then you have the lookout. This is the dude who makes the perception checks. The big thing this person does is they're going to be able to notice landmarks. They're going to be able to notice enemies, so they could set you up for avoiding ambushes or even setting up ambushes. So this is whoever the murder hobo in the party is, they're probably going to play this one. The forager. This is the person who gets shit. They get shit done while you're traveling. They're picking up herds to craft into potions. They're hunting animals to turn into leather, like our quick slot inventory belt pouches here. They're catching food and fish so that you can basically collect rations automatically as you travel. So instead of letting them dwindle down and you pray to God you get to town on time without starving, you are constantly replenishing your rations. And they will have bonuses to other things that you'll be able to pick out as you level. Like they might gain abilities at collecting, like bonuses to collecting things like wood, more herbs, ore, minerals, crystals, certain kinds of leathers, all kinds of shit. You might give them bonuses to fishing so they can like automatically collect like enough food for 4 in a day. You know, it's just stuff it's quality of life features and resources for the team when you're doing all of the fucking downtime that you would be doing waiting for the healing up here. So it all ties back in. And then the last one, this one I think it has the potential to be the coolest one, but I think of all of them, it is going to be the least favorite. This is going to be the least popular one. So this is the quartermaster. So when you're with your friends and there's the one guy that sets up the plane ticket, the train ticket, the boat ticket, when you're going to get on the cruise, what hotel you're staying in and where you go eat, all the reservations, that's this guy. So when you're buying supplies like rations, torches, rope, climbing gear, or procuring services like a wagon and horses, a boat ferry across the lake, this guy is able to get reduced prices. So if you're the charisma character, you're going to want to be the quartermaster. This is the guy who's going to be making like persuasion and deception and insight checks to reduce the prices on the goods that you get for traveling. They're going to get a basic reduction by default. I don't know how much it's going to be. It might start at like 10% and then max out at 50% at level 5. Don't know. But there's going to be like a base level they get reduced because that's just kind of their thing. And then the other thing they're good at is setting up camp. So camp, I feel like something is so overlooked in some D&D games. Some people don't do it. They just say, okay, cool, you rest. All right, back to the road. Or, you know, there's no travel and you never camp out on the road. And this is also beneficial for the people who, and if you've played D&D, you've either been this person or you've seen the guy who does it. The dude who thinks that they can just pitch a tent, roll out their sleeping bag and start a fire and basically take a long rest in like the most dangerous, perilous, insane scenario ever. And the DM is like looking him in the face like, do you really think you're going to sit on the edge of this volcano with that dragon watching you for 8 hours? And that player goes, why not? It's a joy. It is funny. I've seen it happen. I remember back before I knew that you could only take a single long rest a day, my players would take a long rest. They would do just that. They would take a long rest in a place that was terrible, and then it would get interrupted. They would kill the monster, and then they would look at me and say, okay, we long rest again. And I didn't know the rule was 1 a day, so I would let them long rest again. And I remember there was one day where they slept in a dungeon in the same spot because they kept getting interrupted by the dungeon patrols. They slept for like 36 hours in one room. And at one point, they were basically like sliding their bedrolls over top of the bodies of the goblins and kobolds because there were so many in this little room. And like that was their cushioning. And I was like, you guys are lunatics. I just joined in and I heard that. I knew someone was going to make that joke. I knew someone was going to do it. What a time to jump in. That's amazing. See, I actively go camping. So when I say pitch a tent, I know I mean going camping. But the internet, they mean something, they think I mean something very different, which is still funny. But yeah, so that's this guy. And when you're in a party, you can only one person can actively use one of these. So you can't have 4 navigators. You can't have 2 lookouts and 2 foragers. If you have a party of 4, everybody's got to be one of them. But once you go over 4 people, like if you have a party of 5, 6, 7, that's when you can start doubling up. And I have no rules in place for what happens if it doubles up. So no clue. No clue. Who knows? But I don't know. There's always that thing in my mind too that's just like, why can't I have 2 navigators? You know, why can't there be 7 foragers in one party? And I'm just like, I don't have an answer. I have no idea. So, but yeah, these are the homebrew rules. So longer healing, but more downtime. Wounds that make damage actually matter. Lingering injuries that can potentially make your character, you know, feel like they're a part of the world and they're growing with it and they're feeling the wear and tear of their adventuring times. Quick slot inventory. I think that one's pretty cool. And then the traveling exploration crashes. Fucking the slip of the tongue there. My God. But yeah, that's kind of the whole gist of that. And now I realize it's been 2 hours into this stream, and I'm only just now getting to like things I want to do for this world building. Game's Sunday, by the way. Also didn't realize I've been yapping for 2 hours. I have to piss like a racehorse. So I'm going to go do that. We're going to take a break. Everybody take 5. All right? I will see you back here shortly. That's the name of the game. Piss like a racehorse. The yap game. Be back, peeps. Lordy, lordy. Lordy, lordy. Or the bag. Or the bag. Good, good. Here. Couple people still here. Ugh. Up, up, up. We are back. I went and got me a refill. I should go get me food. That's something that would be amazing. I'm probably gonna end up cooking late tonight. What the uncle noises? What the hell's an uncle noise? What the hell an uncle noise is? Too good, too good. Okie dokie. So, what we do here? I think next I should probably move on to more actual building. Now I do have, hold on, do I have that pulled up? This would work. Actually, yeah. We'll do that after this. Because I know someone was asking about my map making program before, and we could do that here in a little bit. Too good. So, I basically just need to come up with more synopsises. If you, yeah, let's do a synopsis as soon as I spell. Too much drinking. That is what I have. I'm supposed to be doing a drunk stream with somebody at some point, but I don't know if I don't know when that's going to happen. That sounds like a lot of fun, though. I can't wait. I don't know what we'll do. Never played Among Us. Among Us would be fun. Among Us or Peak or something. I only played Peak once. Peak once. 'Twas great. 'Twas very great. Oh, lordy. There we go. Okay, I'm glad to see a lot of TTRPG people here. I'm happy for this. I really am. I don't get to share that part with this community too much. Most people don't know what it is, and they're worried to like ask or talk about it. It gets a little weird. It's a little weird. Some people play, some people don't, and it's like, eh. If you play, you play. But I see more often than not people want to play, but they like don't have a group, or they don't know anybody, or they don't think they can, or some shit. Or you're like me and you thought it was too nerdy and you didn't want to be that nerdy. Oh, alrighty. Let's see here. Homebrew setting with no name. No name. Insert name here. Perfect. Alright. So, you started with homebrew and then got into 5e? That seems so crazily backwards. That had to be nuts. You went from being free to being constrained. That's a why. A why? A wild scenario. Yep. I wonder if that happens more often than not than the other way around. That's interesting. Because my first game was technically Pathfinder, although they kept calling it D&D, so I didn't know it was Pathfinder until we were like literally 2 sessions into the game. And then, what? The next day, not the next day, but it was later that year, 5th edition came out. That was how recently I played it. More official game. Oh yeah, D&D, they're full of inspiration. They're really good. If you want really good inspiration from 5e to learn from, look up literally anything that has been made by Chris Perkins.
There we go. Makise Kurisu. Christina, you're here? Oh my god. I love your anime. Hello, just stopped by to say I love the Hoyo reactions. Hoyo reactions? Go. I too love Hoyo reactions, but I don't love reaction content. And I can't really look at Hoyo reactions because it spoils stuff. It's a very difficult process. it's a very difficult process. Perkins? Yeah, Chris Perkins. If you don't know who I'm talking about, he's an amazing DM. He's a fantastic DM. I love him to death. He's the creative lead on, well, he used to be. Correction. He was the creative lead writer and creative lead designer? I think he was the creative lead writer for Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons specifically. Yep. No, don't clarify, don't clarify. You're fine, Christina. I'm going to assume you've seen Steins Gate, so these jokes make sense. But trust me, I would love to play some Hoyoverse right now, but Genshin, I played a lot of it in quick succession, so I put that to the side for a second. ZZZ, I just didn't play. I just wasn't in the mood. And then never heard of it. Sure, buddy. Sure. And Star Rail, I refuse to play until it's voiced. I refuse to play until it's voiced. Like, I get angry when like a AAA title, you know, something that costs $60 to $70 is like missing stuff. I'm like, oh, really? You couldn't do this? You're a AAA title? So when it comes to Hoyoverse, a game that I spend literally thousands of dollars on, to know that they can't handle the bare minimum of a voice actor, it just, I'm like, nah, I'm walking away. Get me out of here. Like, come back when you got your shit together. It's bad. Oh, man. And there's so many factors that go into that my statement doesn't really do any justice, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I shall wait. I shall wait. Yep. That, and I want to brag. I want to be the first person on YouTube who posts a video that says like Honkai Star Rail 2.7 fully voiced in all caps. I want to do it. I want to do it. My hair is tickling the ever-loving crap out of the side of my ear. Son of a bitch. Oh. Oh, there's no greater feeling than that. Yep. Yep, I'm waiting. Dan Hung should be back shortly. And Himiko's the wild card right now. I don't know any more than that. And I don't want to know any more than that. I've tried so hard to avoid Star Rail spoilers. You know how hard that is, considering my side hustle is on YouTube, where all those things are. Oh God! Every day I consider doing the like hide thumbnail button, but I'm like, no, don't do it. It's not worth it. Not yet. But yeah. All right. Back on topic though. Homebrew setting. We got a synopsis here. So, what's the elevator pitch from this? What could I do? Skyfall. What could I say? What's like a cool elevator pitch here? I don't need a cool one. I just need to get the point across too. So let's say like Sky fell apart, gods fell to the earth, world turned upside down. That's not how you spell that. Down. Mayhem. Nah, I don't like that one. I need like a phrase to really nail it in. Skyfall.
I do love me some James Bond. Not any of the new ones though. I'm talking like some old school Sean Connery. Ah, my boy. Rest in peace. There we go. The sky's falling. See, here's the problem. Whenever I think of that James Bond song, all I can think of is the song from Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. It's like a curse. In the night. And then if I think of that song, I think of Sonny My Man. And it's a curse. It's a vicious cycle. It really is. Are you late? Yes. We are over 2 hours into it, pretty much. We are over 2 hours. We have been jamming along. We've been doing good. Oh my god, my face is lit up so bad by this light. Hold on, can I just like nerf you a little bit? Can I go like down here with it? Like that? Better, hold up. I just turn it off. What if I just turn it off? If I turn this off, it's gonna go like pitch black, right? Yeah. Okay. Less bloom. There we go. Too good, too good. All right. So what do we say? Is the synopsis? Actual part. How can I? This is going to be like an elevator pitch for the whole world. Oh, what could I say? Add the word suddenly. That adds a bit of a different feel to that. Do it. Do it. Yes, do it. Oh, Palpatine, my boy. Earth. Lift apart. I don't like this phrase. I want to change. I don't like this. I don't like this phrase right here. It's like too straightforward. What if we said something like I don't know what the I don't know what like the key words. What could this what's a fun word? What's a fun word? Decimate? Sunder? Sunder's cool. I like sunder. What am I thinking of? Hold on. There's already a thing of this. What is it called? What am I thinking of? Already a word in Forgotten Realms. Okay, maybe not that one. The very heavens fall. Divine realm. Falling. Okay. Oh, okay. Falling. Shatters. Shatters is a wild word. I don't want to go too cataclysmic. I say this is a cataclysmic event. Crumbled. There's a fun word. Fell to like that. Crumble is such a normal little word, but it's kind of cool. Fragment. Fragmented. That would. Oh my god, that would be crazy too. What could we do? They fell apart. Instead of making this a list, let me do this. Realm. World? More realm? Realm? World? I don't know what word I want to use for it. World makes it sound too much of like a whole separate place, but it's all supposed to be interconnected. I don't know. The hard part is starting from scratch. Hard part is starting from scratch. Fragment is a fun word, though. I do like that. Crumbled. Let me put the comment here. In the, I don't know. Look, guys, I barely passed English. I'm surprised I could speak English. It's my first language. I can't say lament because then everyone will just think of woo. Now, they didn't fuse. They definitely didn't fuse. I'm thinking this was a very violent smashing. Like, it just fell and, like, literally blasted into it. Now, where it gets weird is it's the sky, so it didn't fall, like, in a straight line down. It was literally like a ball that collapsed. Because it would be everywhere. Rupture's a fun one. Ooh, wait, you could do friction fuse. Like a collision. Wither, no, not wither. I like... Rupture's fun. Hold on, what can I mess with rupture? What could rupture? What could change? What could happen? What if... Spitballing here. I'm coming up with shit right off the top real quick. What it something that's usually like in the world, like ley lines. What about ley lines? Let's say, let's make it really cataclysmic. Let's say, causing ley lines. No, wraps makes it sound like it's a circle. I don't want to say if it's a circle or flat, just to keep that mystery there. Force through the earth to rupture. Okay, there we go. Found a way to put rupture in there. Okay, upheaval. I love that word. It is a really good word. Now, what if... Now, here's an idea I was experimenting with. I would love to hear people's opinion on this. So I was thinking, what if a side effect of these realms colliding was like the creation of these various wastelands? And in those, the wastelands are like anti-magic zones. That sentence was wild to read, by the way. Oh, man. Like that. So what if I like that? Like anti-magic zones being like slightly more common. Because like in D&D, like there's the spell anti-magic zone, and then there's like traps and other things that are like anti-magic zones, but they never come up, right? It never comes up. Like no spellcaster ever takes the spell anti-magic zone because there's a chance that they could just render themselves useless. It's always a treat to think of that. I like that. I think that works. I forgot I had the lo-fi music on. I have it muted on my end, so I can't even hear that. Interesting. Here we go. What did we do there? I like that. Let's just keep the idea spitballing. The waste... Just waste the wastelands? Wastelands? We add like our own fantasy biome? A wasteland technically isn't a fantasy biome, but context. Yeah, what's the time frame? So that's the interesting part. I'm thinking it really isn't that long. I'm thinking it's not a very long time. So if we go with the theme of it being a post-apocalyptic. So post-apocalyptic is right after the apocalyptic event, right? Everything is shit. The post of that would be the recovery. But the signs and the scars are still there. Magic meets anti-magic. Is there an annihilation reaction? No, I think the magic disappears. Just keep it nice and simple. I don't think there needs to be anything crazy. If you shot a spell off into an anti-magic zone, it would just fizzle. Keep it nice and simple. Can't have everything be too crazy. Like this is like the big defining event that is like setting up the setting. So it needs to be kind of crazy, but after that, everything's going to be fairly simple. We're setting up the crazy, stupid part now so that we can move past it. So, Wastelands. We just say, like, here's anti-magic zones. Something like that. That'll work. And then... let's see. Let's go with civilization reforms. Presence of fallen entity. There we go. Something like that. I think that's a scientist. I don't know if it's science. There are a lot of reactions that don't do anything. Like another dimension. See that? I don't know, because like then it gets too crazy. Because now it's a place that you can't really go, right? And if you do go, it's like, well, shit, what happens? Oh yeah, definitely. So I do. This is something I thought of before. I like the idea, to your point. So like when these gods fell, I'm thinking some of them survived, some of them didn't. And the ones that didn't, obviously they are beings of incredible power and just like purest raw magic. So I'm thinking like where they fell, their corpses would have, in a very Final Fantasy-esque matter, crystallized and then literally began to alter the terrain around them. So I like the idea of like, say like a god falls and its corpse is just sitting there in the middle of a forest and a bunch of insects and pests and like parasites come over and start eating it, and they all literally like ascend into these like pseudo divine like bug monsters. And now you have cults that are devoted to these like crazy like half god insects. Like that would be amazing. Yeah, exactly. Or like kind of what I was saying before, like a god of the ocean fell down and where he hit the ground, a huge swath of land just turned into ocean. Or like a god of death hits the ground and it just turns this whole like a whole area into like this undead region. So there's like a city of skeletons just living their normal lives. Just turns into like a zombie apocalypse, but that's normal over there. Yeah, that's a good point too. If there's like natural disasters and weather phenomenon and stuff caused by magic, they would just run into these wastelands and essentially like stop. Which kind of gets cool because that would mean these wasteland places don't really ever so wastelands they're basically the West Coast. It's the same weather and temperature all the time. That's funny. I like that. I like that a lot. I also think it would be interesting with the wastelands because, like, if it's like a newly appointed high fantasy area, that means everybody's coming into liking magic. Divine, arcane, primal, or otherwise. So, whatever these wastelands are where there's no magic, they would kind of be a little shunned, right? Like the edges of society, very Mad Maxy. That's a thought. Okay. I like that. or if in the example of like gods becoming dictators or taking over, or religions becoming stronger and taking over in the name of the divine, people might flee to the wastelands where that divine magic can't reach them. And so they literally choose to live in these crazy magicless areas in order to like escape sort of a whatever civilization might be undergoing like a mageocracy. That's okay. Okay. I'm thinking here. I like that. I like that a lot. The old brain gears are turning, man. The brain gears are turning. I like this. I like this. I like this. Go. Good, good, good. Okay, you know what? That's fine. Okay. Reshape world. No, I don't know why I capitalized that. I guess I wanted it to be important. There we go. Good shit. Okay. The more I'm making this, the more I'm starting to realize this could go beyond just D&D. You could do like anything. See, and I'm still trying to make that I haven't forgotten the Star Rail TTRPG idea. I haven't, but like coming up with mechanics for that has been so difficult. It's so painful. Because I'm like, this could work. No, it couldn't. That could work. No, it couldn't. What about that? No. It's a painful one. It really is. Oh, you know, let's what have we not done? So this is cool. I like this synopsis. That works out. That works. Okay, okay. I think I got the general gist. Sounds like you just want a Star Rail terminology in there. Nah, there we go. I don't think they should all be dead. Definitely, I think some should. I think that makes for a good story. But yeah, definitely, I think a big trend is going to be like a reclamation type thing, depending on where you go. Something exists that will always opposition. Not always. Always. I guess it depends how you view what opposition means. Okay, you know what? Let's move on to another thing. This would be fun. I've been working on this a little bit. We will, actually, let me save this before I flip and forget, because I'm gonna want to act on this here later on. Let's do. Somebody asked about my. This is a window. I don't know why it's not capturing. This one? No. Is it this one? No. Is it this one? No. Blah, 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 blah. Right, hold up just a sec. I gotta figure out if this will flip and work. Wait, nope, that's the wrong button. There we go. Okay. See, something I really like from what's it? I think it's older editions of Forgotten Realms is they have something in that they refer to as like the dead power, and it's when a god dies, but its divinity doesn't go away, and you can like go get it. Amazing idea. I love the thought of it. So that's you bring that up, and that's a great point. I like that idea too. I think that would be like a big thing. Ancient text scrimming guys being possibly outdated. Oh yeah, definitely. See, that's where a lot of political intrigue would come in too, because like the god might want like a tight circle of people, and they would know how that god acted, and it might be like an act or just like different from how they're presented, you know. And to assume otherwise would be heretical. We can't have heresy in here. Not before the god emperor of mankind. Not on my watch. Say as a chaos player.
Okay, hold on. I cannot find this fucking thing. This is a window. I promise you it is. But it won't load as a window for some reason. Well, let me see here. What if I do something like, what am I sporting here? Interest. No, no, no. Okay, I gotta do like a screen capture, I think. There we go. Let's try that. There we go. Give me video capture. There we go. So for whoever was asking for my oh yeah, I think there'll probably be multiple pantheons. There'll probably be multiple. But yeah, so for whoever was asking about the map making program I use, that's this. This is Wonderdraft. I love Wonderdraft very immensely. That's where I have like this map. I made this in Wonderdraft. It is very, very fun. Now that I actually have a screen share on, I can actually do this. So lots of stuff. This map isn't even done. There's a metric piss ton of detail that is still missing from this map. But there's a couple areas that are done. So Wonderdraft is where I made this. That is this program right here. You get all kinds of stuff. If I remember correctly, Wonderdraft, you purchase it like once. I'm trying to remember if you purchase it or not. But if you go to like Google or Pinterest or I'm assuming I don't use other social media platforms. I'm assuming TikTok or Insta or X or whatever the fuck has it. But yeah, it's a one-time purchase. The updates are free. They just when you open the thing, it'll say like right here it says version up to date. But when there's a version update, they'll literally tell you in the program and you just click it and you go to it and download it. But it's amazing. You can download like packs and shit for it, all kinds of stuff. It works by oh god, what's it called? I'm already forgetting. If you make a photo with black and white contrast, like right here, for example, I went and did this really quick. And if you can't tell already from what this is literally a picture of just the east side of Asia, right? Japan right there. You get the Indies, Russia up here. That's what it is. This is what I do when I'm doing maps. So I literally now have this picture, right? I go here, and then I can literally just click this little selector box here. Go, and I'm going to copy it. And then this is a big image, so it's probably not gonna. Let's erase it. Fill. Oh no, paste. Now we're gonna rotate this. There we go. And then I kind of like this shape right. I kind of like this angle right here. Like that. Right here. Right there. I want to add more to this, but for now, I think this is good. Just hit enter real quick. There we go. And now we could just start painting, baby. I'm on the ceiling. Oh, you're in age. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so terribly sorry. I didn't mean for that to happen. Don't worry, it'll wear off in a couple of days. No promises. Let's get rid of this shit off to the side here. Careful not to destroy the tip of India there. You guys might have to go. I'm sorry. Japan. I just gotta delete your name real quick. Just don't. Please don't hit Tokyo. Okay, there we go. Zoom in here. What can I mess with? And yeah, like this is, so I have this set to a ridiculous pixel count, by the way. So like this is a very detailed version of what you would probably see yourselves. Unless you have beefy computers. This program, if you turn everything up to max and work with like the biggest shit, it will choke your computer out. Now we're just gonna delete this.
water. And so, as you can see over here, there's a lot of tabs here. Right? I have water, and then I can click this, and I can literally add rivers. Just double-click a bunch, and then I right-click to finish it. Boop, there's a river. Right, delete it. Just get that river out of here real quick. But yeah, you paint the land as you go. It's an amazing program. I'm so glad I discovered it. One of those videos that are like, oh, 10 programs that will help your D&D games, and then Wonder Draft was in there, right there next to Incarnate. Oh, you can use this for video games. Actually, funny story. Wonder Draft is in a lot of shit. If anyone in here plays Ark, one of the maps for Ark, what is it? Oh, it's the Fjordur. I think it's Ark Fjordur. The world map of Fjordur uses Wonder Draft. Tamil Kings? Who messes with the Tamil Kings? Nobody, because they're the Tamil Kings. Kind of like that weird shape right there. That's kind of nifty. Okay. Yeah, right now I am just deleting the letters that are making the land because we don't need that in here. That... yeah, something like that. There we go. But yeah, so this is what I do when I'm making maps, right? So I get Photoshop, I go find interesting shapes, and sometimes I use the cloud filter. I'll turn the all the settings up to max, so instead of looking like a cloud, it looks like a flippin' Rorschach test. And then I'll just look for like an interesting shape, and I'll like highlight it and cut it out, and I'll make it black and white like this, and then I'll just toss it. I'll import it over here, and then based on how you import it, like if it's black, it'll be water. If it's white, it'll be land. And you import it in here, and bam, there it is. Very, very easy. Very, very easy to do. Come in here, delete stuff. Let's leave that little island. I'm gonna make a nice happy little bush right over here. Yeah, a happy little bush. But yeah, maybe something like this, and then we can use this tool right here, which is raise land mass. This one is very nice. So if you click the paintbrush, increase the size here, it will literally Photoshop just do what you paint, right? But if you do, oh, taking a second. Hello, buddy, please. Erase all that shit real quick. If you do this one, raise landmass, it makes it a little more edgy, a little more rough, much easier to sort of work with here. So you'll see if I just click, it kind of creates like these little bits. If I just tap it, it does like a little bit, nothing crazy, but if I hold it, it'll build it up, right? So it's really good for things like coastlines because you could just sort of click and go, but it's a little too jagged right there. So we can go over here to the roughness and we can adjust that down. And as you can see, it becomes far less blocky, or grainy, I guess I should say instead. I have no clue what kind of shape we're going for here. So go something like that. Grab the brush here, and we're just going to start filling it in. I don't know if I like this ocean on the top here. But yeah, this, I'll usually, if I'm making a map, I'll commit to this process for an ungodly flipping number of hours. Let's back out here. So what do we got so far? That's pretty good. I don't mind it. I don't like these islands going off the top of the screen, because that makes it seem like we have more stuff up that way. So let's get rid of this little bit here. I apologize to anybody who lives here. Akin to that. That looks pretty good. Little chain of islands up there. They can do all kinds of crazy shit with that. So now, if you're not like Asian, like referenced Asian descendant, like you're not probably not gonna recognize this is literally just Asia turned upside down, right? Like, I don't think anybody imagines Japan sideways like that. Actually, I just realized that I do because I played Shogun 2. So that is literally how the map is set up. I ate my own words real quick. It's funny. Okay. Too good. Pointing. Oh, it is kind of a little hand. Little hand. Good guy. But what would he be pointing to? That's kind of the bigger question. So I want something up here. I kind of want more islands. Or like something here. Some big landmass. But what? I kind of want like a whole coast right there. A whole coast would be cool. Hold on. Maybe I can dig something up here. Let's see. What can I do? Don't want to do that. Hold up. Let's go to... Oh, I have an idea. This is funny. Hold up. Where's that? Right here. That'll work. Give me this. Nope, not link. Open an image. I'm gonna literally go copy paste a landmass from the real world. And I'm gonna slap it into here. Hold up. Where's Photoshop? And put into like a round table. A round table thing? What the fuck do you mean a round table? What? Here we go. Let's do this. And the problem with this is if I go to import it into here, it's gonna put it like right in the middle. So hold on, let me see. It's gonna do it, I'm pretty sure. Screenshots. No, nothing. Hello. Not gonna load. That one's right there. Why was the other one not right there? Getting the insight into the DonnyVick screenshots. My folder is insane. It'll be right in the middle. I have a feeling it's gonna screw up. Oh no, it was backwards. Even worse. Hold up. Funny. You see 3 people pointing? What? Wait, hello? Why did this go back to normal? Ah? Am I dumb? There we go. Okay, I got really scared for a second. I got really scared for a second. How the hell do you invert shit again in Photoshop? I can't remember. What was it? Edit, transform. No, that wasn't it. I can't remember what it was. There you go. Boom, now we're good. All right. Yeah, no, good call, though. I should probably save this now. We're going to save. Oh, God, we don't have a name. Let's go. Oh, God. I don't have a name. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to name this. You kidding me? Stream game. Stream map. Map of stream map. Perfect. Perfect. I love it. Nailed it. Map of somewhere Asia. I like your idea. It's funny. Okay. I need this to pop up in the nicest way possible. But now, let me just there we go. Good. Now, will this import correctly? Probably not. Actually, wait. Can I move it? Hold on. What's it going to look like if I do it? Where's it going to go? I'm assuming right in the dead middle because it's an asshole like that. Yep, of course. Okay. I need it smaller. I hit Control Z. Why do you play with me, game? Game? Okay. Need you to be tinier. It to pitch in half. So what do we got? 225. 8. And 231. Go. Boop. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Map of somewhere. That is funny. I like that. Okay. Now we're good. You know, I can just save. It's good. Save as a fucking PNG, isn't it? Doot. 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 Now we're good. Okay. So now I can probably move this over now. Here. Because I don't need this chunk over here because I was just messing around. Let's go copy, erase, import. That's been a while since I've had to break into maps like this. My God. Adios. Thanks for joining in. Have a good one. There it is. Okay. It did not shrink at all. That is the worst. Okay. Did not do what I thought it would at all. Okay. Oh, how the hell do I want to do this? What time is it? Oh, God, it's nearly 10 o'clock. I might not even be able to do this then. Blah, 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 blah. And yes, for anyone who's wondering, that is Alaska. If I paste it, it's over. I really thought that Photoshop trick would have worked. It's probably because it's scaling to the size of the canvas, which is a bad maneuver. Because I don't copy it, I should be good, right? No, this is really going to suck, and it's going to be funny. For you, not me. Well, they all didn't die, that's the thing. So I'm thinking a lot of them are going to live. But, oh, wait, nope. Buddy? Nope. Bad. 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 Oh, that didn't. Oh, redo. Redo. Go forward. Or, nope, undo. Ooh. Okay, it's not going to do the thing. Okay, hold on. We got to do this again. Here we go. Bop. And then we're going to go. I just got to scoot it over. That's all. Just got to scoot it over. Why did I do it over there? Do it over there. Here we go. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. And now we're going to spin you. Can't spin you. Why can I not spin you? There we go. Now we're good. This. Can't shrink it, right? Oh, wait. Hey, there I knew you could do this. I just couldn't remember how. That's no fucking shit, world. I was like, I know it's a thing. I know it. Okay, so let's go right there with you. Good. Go right here. Go right here, and we're gonna go. Nope. There we go. And can I paste the old one back? Yes, I can. Yes, this is what I wanted. Okay, good, 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 good. Let's go. Maybe right. That's good. Something like that. Boom. Now we got landmass going, baby. Maybe we just keep going with this. There we go. Okay, now I'm getting the shape I wanted. This is good. Oh man. There we go. Okay, now we're cooking. Now I kind of got the shape I wanted here. We have combined East Asia and Alaska, which is hilarious because the land bridge would have been right there. That's funny. Okay, good, good, good. And now I can just experiment with this canvas a bit. Let's save it again real quick. Could be that whole bit. Nah. How much do I like that water right there? I don't know. It still needs more experimenting. The big lake in the south. Well, we're on like a small continental size right now, so. And I need more land mass anyway, because of how these areas are gonna go. Because on this map, I have to basically fit 5 areas. So I have to fit the starter area, and the starter area has to border all 4 of these areas. And each of the areas needs to have the border that is said right here. So there needs to be a wall of mountains, a great wall, a monster-infested border, and a sea of fire. So there's a lot of weird shit I need here. And it has to be mountains, a cold, icy coast, forest and fields, and chaos everything. So it's gonna get weird. So if it's icy north, obviously like up here, maybe can I rotate this? Let me rotate this real quick. Hold up. Right there with it. Copy. But yep. Starter island with a volcano. Well, the volcano is somewhere else. The volcano is in a different location. One presumes the general is good at geography. I am very good at geography. Very, very good. I love geography. Yep, I'm thinking definitely up here. And it kind of has the shape I was originally imagining, but it's like bigger than I expected, so I kind of gotta. Let me. Ooh, maybe if can I crunch it a bit? I kind of want to. I like that corner being more boxy, but I don't like Alaska over there being crunched up like that. I kind of want it wider like that. Hold on, what can I do here? Hold up. Rectangle, something like that. Go with that. I have an idea. Hold up. I'm cooking. I'm cooking, damn it. Hold up. Let's go right here. We're going to come in here. Over. Come on, bud. There we go. You over here. And then we're going to take this. Stretch this one a bit. Cut. Paste. There we go. That's a bit too far. Fit it right about. I like where that is. The ceiling and floor nearly fuse. Ah! Oh, it's glitching. It's glitching. Hold up. I like those islands right there. Then that part kind of, hold on. Let's pop it there. Oh my god, wait, what the fuck just happened? Go back. Oh, I know what happened. It's a bug. Just like to load. Come on. Undo. There we go. Paste here. And go all the way up. That's a... Man, this is tough, man. The pains of map design. No, that's smaller, and I don't like it. Dorbeck doesn't like it. Is this the apocalypse? Yes and no. Wait. Islands get cut off, and I don't like it. Right there. I might have to cut those out where I didn't want to cut them out, and that makes me sad. But we shall see how we're feeling afterwards, so... Let's cut this out. Hurts me to do, because I really liked that. Really did like that part of the map. That hurts me inside. Here. Hold on. See, this is where I hate working small to big, because how I'm seeing this is just like obviously a zoom in of like a corner of a continent, right? If I knew the whole continent, this would be easy to shape out, but I don't know the dimensions of the rest of it, so I have no clue. That side is supposed to be this cold, icy coastline we're talking about. But this side shouldn't be cold and icy, or should it? If I go all the way, that mixes there too much. I kind of want it to come to a point, almost like a spiky, like an arrowhead, like going off into like the ocean. So like something like that. But also like the. I don't like it. I'm angry now. There, no, right there, no, right here. Let me fit some pieces together. Something like that. Hold on, how am I visioning this? No. If I put it on pencil and paper, you guys aren't gonna see it. I like the island. Ooh, wait, hold up. That shape's kind of cool. If I add islands like that, I could have like a plate. Actually, hold on. This is great. I like this right here.
Give me that curve right there. And boom. Perfect. Abso-fucking-lutely, baby. Give me that curve. That's something I never thought I would say. Then we can go right here, go right here. Down like that for now. Okay. And then we can literally just have like one massive fjord just coming back. Oh, I love that. Okay. Oh yeah, look at that little curve right there. Oh yeah, baby. We are in business, people. This is great. I rotate the whole map. Now I kind of like this. I like this right here, but why does this just look like what am I thinking of? You play Monster? Anybody or Monster Hunter? Anyone know about Gravios and Basarius? It's like a 3/4 angle of like Gravios and Basarius's head, like that's like the head horns right there. And like the mouth would be like right here, right? So he would just kind of be like, you know, roar. Right? Is anyone else thinking that? If there's just me. Oh god. I love it. What do we got? What if you rotate the whole map? Yeah, I'm gonna mess with it a bit. This is genuinely so fire. Nah, this is easy. Anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. I shit you not, I took a picture of Alaska and Asia, and I just rotated both of them 90 degrees and slid them next to each other, and that's how I got this. Literally it. So what else would I want to do? I want to mess with this coastline a bit. I want to maybe add islands here. I don't know. Islands are always fun. Everybody loves coastal islands. The problem if I add islands there is that means that there's a tectonic history, which means earthquakes, which means volcanoes, which means fault line, which means other ocean issues, which I don't want. In my head, the headcanon of right here doesn't have that, but it could. It could. Now I see a turtle. Yeah, no, the turtle's haunting me too. I was trying not to say it. Oh god, yep. This is good. This is good. I like this. I like this a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, this is World Building with DonnyVick. This is cooking. This is how you cook, damn it. Too many cooks. Anybody knows what I'm talking about? That reference would be amazing. And then right here with it. There we go. Copy, cut, paste. Paste it, and now I want to adjust it a bit. How do I make this? Hold on. Like that, maybe? Like that, and then we'll go all the way up. Save some cooks for the rest of us. It's been fun doing this on stream. I have enjoyed doing this on stream. I've been putting this off for like a week. That's the other thing. Okay, I gotta turn this light back on. It's so dark in my damn room now. Please don't be bright. Okay, thank God. Yep. So, see, the problem is I have my outline, right? Oh my God. And then as soon as I turn that light back on, Jesus. D&D city maps. What's the program? Azogs? Is it Azogs? Hold on. What's that map maker? Asgar, that's the one. Pretty sure that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Asgard's. They have the city maps. What's this? Is it? I think he has the city one, right? Oh no, that's it. Medieval Fantasy Generator. Yeah. If you're trying to make town maps, do that one. It's so good. Freaking yeah, Medieval Fantasy City Generator. It's so good. I've used it for a number of things. It's so good. You just keep hitting random and it just gives you wild shit. And they update it all the time. I love it. But yeah, so for whatever map we work with, I need a mountain area, a coastal cold area, forest and fields, and then whatever the fuck that is, which is just that could fit literally anywhere. And then I need a starter area, which I'm thinking very much like a Sonic Green Hills or like a Zelda starting forest. But I want it on the coast. I want a coastal area for it. That's my thought process. So what am I doing here? Oh no, it bugged. God damn it. Sometimes when you use Wonder Draft and you readjust the dimensions, it'll do that. And it keeps the previous dimension, but it makes it look bigger. It's really, it's annoying. So if I do this and I paste it, there we go. Now I got it back. Okay. I'll go really small with this. Hold up. Like up here. That might work. So I don't know. Now that I'm looking at this now, like in my head, I'm thinking this is like the top left corner of a continent. Maybe not quite big enough to reach the equator, but maybe like close. What can I do this? So this line right here makes me think of like collision. So I'm thinking there's going to be like here. I'll show you guys some of the symbols you can use since I've just been showing off how to paint land real quick. So we could do, this is all mountains and stuff, so we could do something like this, right? And I'm thinking a mountain range like right here. So I could just left click and hold. And I'm thinking we just stretch our way down here. Something along like that. That's pretty cool. I like that idea. And we can snag some hills real quick. We can actually hold on. The density and shit's way too damn high. Let's do that real quick. And we go too low now. Okay, now too high. The density a bit. There we go. This program's yeah, no, Wonder Draft is batshit awesome. I'm literally just left clicking and dragging right now. And I'm getting the foothills for our mountain here. Maybe these hills stretch out a bit more for unknown reasons. I just threw some over here in the ocean, apparently. Nope. Delete, please. There we go. There we go. So now there's like a mountain range right in the middle there. Yep. So, obviously, I don't think they would branch out like that, but what it could be, where else? I kind of, I like the idea of like a triangle. A place could collide like that. Probably the same way the Rockies were formed in America. The Rockies are insanely far away from their fault line. It's like borderline unrealistic. As much as I love that this mountain range, it was just for demonstrational purposes, so we don't need it. Get rid of that. No. We do. I kind of hold on. Speaking of the Rockies, I kind of like the idea of like a triangle mountain range. Like a triangular one. I think that would be really cool. Hold up. So like maybe something like we start north here. And it goes down like a long way. Hold on, I gotta increase this again. Do one of these real quick just to get the point across. Something like that. Yeah. Delete this shit. That could be fancy. Delete them. Something like that, I think. But I want... Go down here. We'll come over here. Very basic, very basic. And you can color too in this. Like it's not just the symbols. You can do all kinds of shit. Like I literally love this program. I'm telling you, if you Google people who have made maps with this, you will see some insane shit. Like I'm pretty mediocre. I won't say I'm bad. I definitely think I'm pretty good at this program, but I definitely am not like the best of it. So for anyone who joined in later, this is something I made with this program. This is my homebrew D&D world. This is one of the continents, and you can zoom in pretty damn close. It is maximum pixels of what Wonder Draft can do. It's amazing. It is very, very, very amazing. But yeah, you can do all kinds of shit. Rivers, trees, colors, all kinds of shit. Use Incarnate. I've wanted to use Incarnate. I have wanted to. But yeah, there's a lot of shit on this. I haven't even played, like, sessions in most of these areas, which is pretty sad. Where have I actually played? I've had a one-shot here, which went up into here. I had a short campaign literally just in this valley. Where else? Had a game here. There was one right there, but that's unfinished, so that didn't really count. I've had a game here. Had a short campaign in here and here. A very short one over here. A little bit here, a little bit here. A couple of them up in here because weebs. So. What else? I just did a one-shot with the Discord members that took place up in here. That was a fun one. And I don't have... Do I have the... Hold on. Do I have the... Where's the other one? I'm going to show my damn desktop icons real quick. This one? There it is. This is the other continent. This is the one next door. Oh, man. Yeah, this is fun. This is the continent that my campaign of like 8.5 years has taken place on. And it was all in here. This little chunk of land over here. The lovely region of Yarai. And now my players are currently in an airship traveling across the great Saharan-sized desert of the Bubami. And they are, like, right here right now. fucking little nutcases. And then I'm starting a campaign over here where the players just crash landed on a boat right here. And when this campaign's done, they want to go over here. Oh god, they've done a bunch of sale. Oh wait, yeah. I'm getting distracted now. Then if I do, where is it? This is the whole world map. Suspiciously round C? Yes, indeed. You catch on quickly. But yeah, this is with both of them on the same map. They're on here. Lots of stuff. And then this is also the one that is my DM notes. So each of the colors is something I'm tracking on the DM screen. But yeah. I love it. And I think my favorite fun fact to tell anybody is right here. This is an island that is a small hobgoblin nation. And they have an organization of pirates that everybody else calls the Organ Hunters. Because hobgoblins are really confused why humans live so long, even though they're one of, like, racially the weakest species in D&D. And they think the secret to human power is somewhere in their organs, so they hunt humans. They'll raid your ship as pirates, but they don't want your money, they want you. Oh, that's one of my favorite things about that. Goblins. Hobgoblins. They're like the taller, human-sized red ones. They are crazy. They are crazy. Alrighty. Makes sense. Well, it's it's fantasy times. Like, basic medicine and practice isn't real yet. It's like basically make-believe. So, wording. Oh man, okay. I'm really liking this map. I like this a lot. I want to go forward with this. Now what do I do here? Hobgoblin Slayer. Oh yeah. So, I'm thinking here I could show off another awesome feature here. So you can divide stuff by region in this. So I could take this, I can go border, and then if I go boop. Oh, that is so small. Hold up. Boop. Go bup. Maybe come around here with it. There we go. So that's like one region, right? Maybe that's one of the regions. You thought of a piano? Oh, Jesus. Hold on, let me select you, and then let's scoot you down a bit. Maybe something like that. There we go. So, like, that might be, like, one of the regions from this. Maybe that's the domain one of knowledge right there. We could do that. And then another one might be all maybes, by the way. Let's make it purple. A darkish purple, something, something very lightning-y. Very, let's go, some Genshin Electro, if you will. And let's go, like, right here. Maybe those islands are like a free country. We don't worry about that. And then, like I said, maybe it's like literally a wedge. So that's the next area. The handy region. Yep. It's literally the regions button. I love it. What else could we do here? Really, really into that idea of that city there. Yep. Starter region. I mean, what could we do? Maybe greenish. Grab a green, and then we just chuck this in here, like so. Like right here. No, actually, you know what? This wouldn't work because... Nope. Would not work. This doesn't have the borders that are determined in the paper. So this would not be the starter area. But it does serve as the example. Then I could grab trees, because everybody loves trees. I grab these guys, and we can go zooming in real quick. Will I ever stream a session? No, probably not. Probably not. It takes a lot to make like a good streamed D&D session, right? Like you need good audio quality from like every person, you need good video. If you don't live in the same place as these people, which as I'm doing it over the internet, some of the people I play with are probably literally from other countries. That means it has to be over the internet, which means now you got to deal with delays, you got to deal with different internet connections. A lot of people do mobile instead of PC, so you have to try and design the game for someone who's literally sitting in their bed on a phone, which is just the dumbest idea I've ever heard of. Personal opinion. And it's a lot. It's a lot. Also, streaming and recording it, that's what, 4 or 5 hours of work and prep. I like my D&Ds being private because then I don't have to worry about anything. You know, I can play whatever music I want for the background. I can use whatever images or even fan arts or official arts that I want because no one's there to copyright it. Like, you can just kind of do whatever you want, and there's no worry about it. And it becomes like a private thing for the players too, right? It's a little special thing, a little private special thing. Would I ever do one? I mean, maybe someday, but at the moment, no plans for that. No plans for that at all. But what can we do here? We got trees. Yeah, we got trees. Let's turn the regions off real quick. Let's add some. Let's do one last little bits of things here, and we'll just that down a bit. Those. And where are we going here? We got trees. So let's grab some trees here. We're going to do the placement rate and the density up. We're going to just place a small forest here. There we go. Forest acquired. And where's my placement density? And then we're going to throw some coniferous ones up in here. And it gets a little grassy out this way, so some grass. It's got 1 or 2 rolling hills out here. And then we could do some color. Go with mountains, which are going to be dark. Back, you bastard. There we go. We're going to go here. We're going to go there. Oh, that's not what I want. Back. Filter. Off. Mountains. Program is this? This is Wonderdraft. Wonderdraft is a fantastic thing. I don't like that color as much as I thought I did. Much better. There. And then we're going to go green. A little dark. Go. Nope, that's mountain still. Go to trees. Go a little brighter. We're gonna go with the opacities and shit down. Go, and now my favorite part, we do the ground. Go right here, go right there. Do that right? No. What did I mess up? What did I miss? There. Are you not working, you bastard? Oh, come on. Off, on. What the heck happened? I just had it working, and now it doesn't want to work anymore. I have this set to like erase? What the heck happened? I broke it somehow. I don't know how I did, but I did. It's not filling in the color anymore. That's funny. Let's see here. Good evening. Good evening. We're coming in here at the late nights, man. This is the Wonder Draft. Will there be ints? Maybe. Does it do science fiction? You have to let me try Control Z here. Let me see. Let me go back until the color comes back. The very next day. Oh, I'm undoing like crazy. Hold up. Okay, now it just isn't coloring anything. What a guy. Let's go mountains again. Yeah, okay, now are you gonna do the ground, please? Why don't you do the ground, game? Bill? No, even that doesn't do it. Really? When did they start doing that? I don't know why it started broken. Usually you're able to paint the ground. I do both. Hold up. No, for some reason when I check off ground, it doesn't work. Interesting. Very interesting game. I don't like that color. That's a much better color. Let's go a little brighter. Darker for up here for that. Nope, nope, on mountains again. Why aren't you work any? Regions are off? No, that's probably not it. Paint. Round. Mountain. Go mountain. I don't know why it's broken right now, but it shouldn't be. Very strange to me. A little brighter. There we go, something a little more noticeable. And then we go off mountains, we go to trees, we turn this off. Brighter. Goes in there, and then why won't you work? I gotta do all and then like uncheck these. Like what? Am I clicking something wrong? No. Hold on. Let's turn that off. Give me this one. Hold on. Add. Give me like a grassy field here. Like that. There we go. There we go. Okay, I don't know why that didn't work before. Get the grassy fields here going. And a bit like that. Golden plains stretching out. For some reason, when I go on manual, it doesn't work. I wonder why. And then we're gonna go. This is all very, very, very basic, but you get the point. Man. Good. But yeah, and then eventually you just keep playing around, blah, 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 and you can start getting shit like this. A lot of little details, a lot of little work, but the program's so easy. It just does everything. It does everything. And this could be more detailed, but I color code everything. So I got like this yellowish color is grasslands, green's forest, and then the brown's the mountains, and then I got purpley swamps. Where are they? Here we are. Little purple swamps. Oh, man. There we go. Hashtag not sponsored. But yeah, it is also 10:30, and I work at 5 in the morning, so I am going to have to get off of here. Ugh. I did not think I would go for this long. But this was good, because you guys helped me make progress towards where my starting map is going to be for my players. Got to adjust some things. Definitely got to adjust some things. I don't know how big to make the mountain range, because I don't know how big the continent is. So I have no idea the length of any sort of, like, movements of natural terrain are going to affect it. Thanks for expanding my mind with this software. Yeah, no, this is a beautiful program. I love it to death. It's so good. Wonder Draft is awesome. It's a singular purchase, so you are going to spend about $20-$30, but once you do, you got it. And you can upload and get like mods and things for stuff. So like if I go to symbols here, I showed you guys like mountains. You got like these cool little Chinese cloud forest mountains right here. There's clouds you can do too. There's where is it? You could do sand dunes. There are sand dunes. You can have like a desert landscape if you want to do that. And then forest, there's all kinds of stuff. I can get little palm trees out here. There's some cactuses in there. Grass, I already showed you guys. And then you have the other symbols, which is like the legitimate symbols. You can do like, what is it? Like you can add like a cliff or like a crevasse to some stuff, which is pretty fun. You can do all sorts of stuff like that. So now we have like these multi-tiered cliffs. In here. Are there legal issues using your maps and TTRPG books? No, there's not. To my knowledge, don't take that 100%. But I mean, Ark Survival Evolved uses a Wonder Draft map for their world map. So if they got away with it, I'm sure other people can. Yep. Adios. Enjoy. Have fun with your shift, guys. You can add all kinds of other fun stuff here. Boats. There's a castle. Little village. You could do the compass rose. Little stars. You can dot where you want your places to be. Creepy trees. And yeah, you could just import all kinds of different symbols and stuff in here. A waterfall right there. Stonehenge right here. Little walls, little houses and stuff. It's not really great for cityscapes. You can do it, but it's not the best. You can do it. Here we got like a cool little Great Wall thing going on. Dum, dum. But yeah, lots of fun stuff. How many undos do I have? I have plenty of undos. We're good. Let's get the hell out of here, shall we? Alrighty. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. I certainly did. That was very, very fun. I have the outlines of my D&D map ready to go now. So I will be working on that, and as time goes on, I will probably release a picture much later on so people can see the end result of whatever the hell it is I work on next, or how this picture ends up turning out would be pretty cool. Wouldn't mind doing that. Would not mind doing that. But until then, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe, just like if you didn't. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, and/or witticisms, please, by all means, leave a comment down below. This video, even though all we did was make maps and talk about D&D, it'll probably somehow get blocked by YouTube. So I hope you enjoyed it while you did, if your account isn't blocked. But yeah, that's it. Until then, until next time, guys, adios. Have fun all.